And we are live. Welcome everybody to the 49th episode of Coaster Time, hosted by me, Carrick from Coaster Hour. And as always, we will be doing many different segments. And if you want to know what is happening in the stream, you can check out the itinerary in the description that I have also plugged and pinned in the top of the chat. But today we are also here with three guests, our first three guests since July, all in one episode, which is pretty wild. So definitely a really strong way to bring it back. But we have Nick from Beyond the Thrills, Jason from Coasters and Things, and Tyler from CoasterTyler on Instagram. So I'll just leave it up to you. If you can introduce yourselves and let us know where to find you, that would be fantastic.
Nick, you want to go first?
All right, yeah. I'm Nick. You guys can follow me on Instagram at Beyond the Thrills. You can also check out my content on YouTube. I post about once a year. And yeah, that's basically all I got. Just wrapped up a great run with the Thrill Life with Jason. You can go check out all 33 episodes now if you haven't already. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me on, man.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm Jason. My Instagram handle and YouTube account is Coasters and Things. I actually came up with the "in things" as inspiration of that. I do more than just roller coaster content. I do like general theme park content, even some water park content too.
That was kind of my mindset with Beyond the Thrills years back when I started everything. I was like, I don't want to be called like Coaster Nick or something generic like that. I wanted to kind of go outside the box because, yeah, I'm the same way. I love all things about amusement parks, not just roller coasters. So that was kind of what I was going for as well. Yeah.
And, well, my name's Tyler, pretty clearly through the name. I couldn't think of a name. I was sitting next to Jason, and he suggested it, so I just went with it. I only have an Instagram. I typically post to my stories more than I do my actual post, but I need to start posting from the trips I've been on. And I'm an avid YouTube commenter, but that account will remain secret.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And for those watching, they're in a hotel room right now.
Yeah.
So we just came back from SeaWorld San Diego. A great day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in San Diego, California. We went to SeaWorld today, and tomorrow we're going to Knott's Berry Farm.
Lucky.
Awesome. And I mean, huge shout out, like I said before we were on here, but Jason and Tyler, I mean, doing this, being in San Diego, that is obviously like really awesome. Amazing commitment to do this mid-trip. And then, yeah, make sure to check out the Thrill Life that just wrapped up, but that was a really good podcast series. You can check it out on YouTube and other listening platforms as well. I also have the links to Jason, Nick's, and Tyler's, all their social media pages in the description, so make sure to check that out.
You did your homework.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we will move on into the news, and we have some a decent amount of things that have occurred since the last stream, and we'll be going into that right away. So first, we're going to go into our ride openings. I'm just going to kind of run through these. Some of the most notable ones, you have World of Frozen at Hong Kong Disneyland that just opened in November. Meryal in Qatar, that is a ambitious water park. They have some of the world's tallest water slide complexes. You may have seen pictures of its construction on Instagram. That has opened. And then you have the Beam at Rockefeller Center, which is this sort of weird flat ride thing that mimics the Beam photo, the iconic photo from when that building was being constructed in New York. That is open. Very expensive to do, but that is there. You can also see the upcoming openings. The big one here, Bombay Express, which is the GCI wooden coaster at what is going to become Real Madrid World in the UAE. That's going to open in early 2024. And then you have a few ride delays. Or the first Schwarzkopf Wildcat 2.0, that's going to open in 2025. And that's going to be kind of the main delay here. We'll move on into the permanent closures, which this one is going to be where we're going to discuss one of these in particular. But just to highlight a few of these, You have Fire in the Hole at Silver Dollar City. It's going to be closing on December 30th at specifically 10 p.m. local time. So if you want to get your final ride on that, that's going to be the time you're going to try to hit. Coney Island in Cincinnati, which was the it was influential for Kings Island. That is closing for good on December 31st. You also have Space Mountain at Tokyo Disneyland. That is closing on July 31st of 2024 before they build the new one in like a few years in 2027. And then we have our ride cancellations, which are pretty interesting. You have the Vekoma Tilt Coaster at Energylandia that has been canceled for the time being. You also have Nickelodeon Universe Chongqing in China, which had an Intamin LSM launch coaster that looked really good. Turbo Turtle Power, if you've seen the animation someone made on YouTube, looked really cool. Hopefully that finds a new home. And obviously you can also look at the other ones here. Now, the one we're going to focus on is the Vekoma Tilt Coaster at Energylandia. Obviously, it's now available. Some parts for it have probably been made. If there was a park you would wish to buy this, where would you like it to go? I will start with you, Nick.
Well, that's tough. I mean, I think a Vekoma Tilt Coaster could be a great fit at a lot of parks. I guess, like, first park that would come to mind is one of the smaller Six Flags parks, possibly, I don't know, St. Louis, Great Escape, Six Flags America. Or they could go a completely different direction, and it could go to an independent park like, say, Lagoon.
Okay, all right. Jason, what do you think?
Okay, so one part came to mind right away for me, and that is Kentucky Kingdom. I think this would
Yeah,
be
that's a good pick.
Kingdom.
And then Tyler, what are you thinking?
Kentucky Kingdom is really good, especially in that T3 plot. But I'm thinking more European parks, and I remember there being a rumor a while ago that Groenland was getting a tilt coaster, and I don't know what's happening to that. So if those plans were canceled, if they've already made the pieces, maybe they open them back up again. Who knows?
That's a good pick there for sure. I like that you were thinking European parks. I got two sort of things here. I was thinking of European parks, and there is a park that is kind of, if you look at the timeline for when they get coasters, that I think that would be cool to see it at if they were able to kind of do theming around it. And that would be Toverland in the Netherlands. It is nearby Efteling, which does have a dive coaster, but a tilt coaster is different enough. I mean, you have, Cotoland's getting one, and Dr. Diabolical's is pretty close. So I think you can definitely do that. And I think they could probably theme it up pretty well. And the other one I've been one who's suggested that Magic Mountain should get a tilt coaster for a few years. And they have other plans probably for 2025 with what's going on there. But I think it would be a cool ride to see in the future. I've always said, like, if you got rid of Scream and put that kind of in the Scream Punk area, I think that would be a really nice fit. So those are my picks there.
Everyone says Magic Mountain should get rid of Scream for something else.
It's kind of, especially because Riddler's Revenge is there, it's a lot less relevant is kind of the general feeling. So
Yeah, I will say everyone speaks so much higher of Medusa at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom more so than Scream. Like, it's night and day. Like, I hear nobody talk about Scream, and people seem to rank Medusa at Discovery Kingdom pretty high.
Yeah, I would say it's a lot. I've ridden both. Medusa is the best floorless coaster that I've personally ridden up to this point, where Scream is not quite the weakest, but it is on the weaker side. So I will just say that.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll move on into our construction updates. Got a lot of them. I'm not going to go through every single one. I'm just going to highlight a few of these. So you have Circuit Breaker at Kotoland. Track has shown up on site. That is obviously a promising sign to see. You have several updates for several different Six Flags Qiddiya coasters. Those are kind of, the order of it is in the same order of the rides, as you can see there. Minecart Madness, which we now know the name to and we'll get into a little more later, has started testing at Universal Studios Japan. That'll be the Donkey Kong coaster.
Hell yeah.
And you have Six Flags Magic Mountain, which I was just talking about. They just filed a demolition permit for the Golden Bear Theater, which has been long speculated to be the spot for the next coaster. Assumedly would be coming in 2025 if that would be coming to fruition. So that is certainly exciting. We'll see where that goes. Top Thrill 2 has begun testing somehow already, which is just absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And you got, like I said, just a lot. Like Flash Vertical Velocity at your home park has a shipment that has just sort of, I don't think it's technically arrived at the park yet, but that has been shipped. And then you have the name reveal of the launch coaster going to P&E Playland, which will be Thunderbolt, along with several other updates. If you want to look at all of them, I have them in the description, or you can pause the screen upon rewatch. But with that being said, I'll start with you, Nick. Whether it's like talking about the construction update or just the ride itself, which one of these several attractions interests you?
Oh, well, it's got to be Iron Menace. Now, I know most people watching this would think I would say Flash Vertical Velocity, being that it's at my home park, Great Adventure. But, yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that I'm not excited for Flash. I definitely am. I'm just very skeptical. I just think the ride's going to have such horrible capacity. And, you know, this is coming from someone who goes to Great Adventure, I wouldn't say as often anymore, but, you know, I've gone there a lot over the past couple of years being a coaster enthusiast. And, dude, the crowds there are like no other park. And the fact that Flash will more than likely only run one train has me a little bit worried for that ride. As for Iron Menace, on the other hand, they're making great progress. It's awesome. And shout out to Dorney Park's PR team. I would give them a shout out all the time on the Thrill Life. But hey, another shout out can't hurt. They're doing a fantastic job with everything when it comes to marketing, promoting, advertising, everything for this attraction. I love the Menacing Minute series that they have on their YouTube channel right now. It's super cool. So, yeah, they're doing a lot of great things over at Dorney. So, yeah, Iron Menace would definitely be my pick.
And then I'll just mention real quick for Iron Menace, I've also thought it's been really cool to see. They've been doing a lot of interviews with other coaster content creators. I've been seeing that quite a bit. I think that's really cool to see as well. And the construction progress for Iron Menace is going along very well. Just topped off recently, as mentioned there. So can definitely see why you're excited for that one. Jason, which one you got?
For me, it's a tough call, but I'm very excited for All-American Triple Loop at Indiana Beach, honestly, because I'm so glad Indiana Beach was able to save that ride. It took a while to get it up and testing, but they persevered, and they got it testing, and it should open next year. So hats off to Indiana Beach and everyone involved with that project for getting that coaster back up and running.
Yeah, I went to the park for the first time last year, absolutely fell in love with it. The ride was built, it just didn't have any trains. So, while I was sad to see that it didn't open this year, I'm more than looking forward to seeing it open next year.
For sure. I mean, it's been a long-awaited coaster. It looks like next year should hopefully finally be the year with it testing and even having a POV release recently. That's obviously something you love to see, and this is a park that I've had opportunities to visit, and I've passed it up waiting for this ride to open, so it is good to see that it is on track to do so next year. Tyler, do you have a specific ride?
For me, it was also going to be the American Triple Loop. Something that surprised me going back a little bit, not construction, but I'm always surprised to see a Space Mountain be closed. Even if it's an older ride, it's usually when you see those, it's like, oh, we're updating it. While in this case, they're just completely getting rid of it.
So, yes, it's kind of weird. Like, So they are completely killing it. They're going to destroy the building and everything, but they're going to build a new building a few hundred feet back, and there will be a new coaster in it with a completely new Space Mountain theme, but it'll be a Space Mountain. We just don't know much about the coaster and layout itself. If it'll be similar to what's already there, or if it'll be completely different. There's a lot of speculation, but that it is very intriguing because it's like, as you said, you don't really see something like that. So it is a very interesting project for sure.
Also, I don't think you had this listed, but Good Gravy at Holiday World is almost complete.
Yeah, Trackwork. I think I have it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's in
I see it there. It's under the Ultra Surf.
Like I said, there were so many updates. I just kind of ran through the ones that I thought, like mentioned wise. But
Dude, I'm very impressed. You did all your homework. I mean, I don't think you missed anything yet. You're doing great.
yeah, I'm a reporter for. I help out with some of the Airtime Thrills Discord news stuff, which they have like
Oh, do you
one
really?
of the
That's
most
really cool. I didn't know you
comprehensive
did that.
like news things out there. I mean, I of course also do my stories, but I help find stuff basically, and so there's a lot of forums out there that have all this great information. So as well, like there's just a lot out there. So it's
very cool,
interesting
dude.
to find it for
Yeah,
sure.
it's very cool. Chris is awesome.
Yep. So we'll move on into the announcements. I'm going to try to run through these. So we have a few announcements that are kind of what I call like straggling IAPA announcements. They're kind of IAPA related, but they came afterwards, or we found out about them afterwards. And Jason, kind of in your neck of the woods, an FEC chain called Frankie's that has 5 locations in the Carolinas will be receiving SBF spinning coasters at all their locations,
Yeah,
including the one that they had already announced coming to. Oh boy, I'm not good with. Is it Raleigh? Is that how you pronounce it? Or Raleigh? Raleigh. Okay, there you go. But there will also be one going to Charlotte, Charleston, Greenville, and Columbia throughout the Carolinas. So a lot of new credits to acquire when all those open.
South Carolina loves their SPF coasters.
They do. There's one at what's the park called? Fun in the Sun
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah.
The one
Yeah.
at Funplex in
Yeah,
Myrtle
and
Beach.
Funplex in Myrtle
Yeah,
Beach.
Fun in the
Fun
Sun.
in the Sun. There you
One
go.
Hamster wheel like Zolo Loca that we rode, Nick.
Love that ride.
So you have that one. We have some more Axis Coaster news. So in addition to the one shown at IAPA going to the park in Riyadh, there will be 2 more coming to the 7 FECs in Saudi Arabia, including a lift hill version that is going to be 856 feet long, going to a location in Dammam. I'm probably totally butchering, but trying my best with that. And then there will be a triple launch version, which is speculated to be a swing launch, going to a 7 FEC in Jeddah, also in Saudi Arabia. So we're going to be seeing a little more variety with the layouts. Hopefully this will be a good sort of showcase for what these models can do. So glad that SNS is getting an opportunity to show that. And then we have some other bits. Extreme Engineering Cloud Coaster. There's going to be a new one coming to an undisclosed park in Orlando in the future. And then going to European parks, Hansa Park in Germany is teasing an upcoming secret large attraction that will be placed near the main entrance in a few years. And I'll just kind of try to run through some of the other ones, and we'll go back to whichever ones are the most interesting. Sony Pictures has announced Wonderverse and FEC coming to Chicago in January 2024. Most notable ride here is that they're going to have a Zombieland bumper cars where one bumper car will be infected at the beginning and will try to infect the others. So that's actually a pretty sick idea. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
And then you have Mandalorian Poland. They're getting an indoor Vekoma family launch coaster called Aquila, along with a Zero family flat ride of some sort. That's coming in 2025. In Norway, a recently proposed park called Lily B Parken, which will be the largest theme park in the country, has been greenlit and is scheduled to open in 2028. There are still some hoops it has to go through, but I haven't covered this park, so that's why I mentioned it here. And then Europa Park, they unveiled new concept art for Their remade Alpine Express Enzian, which is their powered coaster that burned down, along with their log flume. And they've also teased their 50th anniversary attraction for 2025. This is speculated to be a new dark ride, though that is not confirmed. That's just speculation there. And then just a few more. Thorpe Park, they unveiled their new logo. Imascore will also be producing Hyperia. Kidia Coast, they unveiled artwork for their upcoming parks as well, which includes Sea Dreams Waterpark and Blue Planet Theme Park. That is a Saudi Arabia government-funded project. Knott's Berry Farm, they've announced the revamped Camp Snoopy for 2024, which will be headlined by Snoopy's Tender Paw Twister Coaster, which you can see on the top right, along with several other attractions. And then you have Toverland. They have a 10-year plan they revealed, which includes an unknown ride that's going to be coming next year, or an unknown ride that's being replaced with a new ride next year, a themed area coming in 2028, a new one, and a new themed area, an 8th one, coming in 2033. So some ambitious plans there.
They sure are thinking long term.
Yeah, like 10-year plan. There you go. And then just for the last little home stretch of the bunch, Parque Warner Madrid, they have unveiled their 5 to 10-year ambitions with a new hotel and a potentially a major new area or second park being involved with those plans. They hope to bring a major dark ride into this supposed new area or second park as the headlining attraction. Park Asterix also has unveiled their future edition plans. They say in 2025 they're going to replace their Antique Cars ride that they just closed this year, rumored to be replaced with a Gerstlauer spinning coaster, along with another big update being the retheme of their Paris area, which will be happening in 2027 through 28. It'll be completely overhauled with new attractions. We don't know what they're going to be, and a new theme more in line with the comics that the rest of the park is themed to. S&S has unveiled new details for the Rail Rider single rail coaster, which you can see here. 39-inch height requirement, 3 different layouts, and 2 different train options with either seatbelt or lap bar. That's on the bottom left. And then our last thing is Poke Park Kanto has been announced. It's a new Pokemon-themed area or mini park. We don't really know exactly yet. Coming to Yomiuri in Japan in the future. And they've also trademarked 2 locations in Europe for Kalos and Paldea. Speculation is that they might try to build these in the 9 real-world reasons that each Pokemon region is based on, which you can look into the ones that those are. But if you're looking for one to come to the U.S., there is a region based off New York City and Hawaii. So there you go there, if that eventually comes in the future. All that aside, which of these announcements interested you, Nick?
It's tough. I'm not really sure. Go back to the other slide real quick. There was one on the other slide that.
Let's see. Which one?
Right there, yeah. I'd probably say the expansion at Knott's Berry Farm. Although I don't know, Toverland, the 10-year plan, that's pretty interesting to see. It's probably a toss-up between either of those two.
For sure.
I just love the story of Toverland, how it went from an FEC and it just went for it. It expanded like crazy and it actually is paying off.
That's true. That's a good point.
For sure. It's the expansion of that park has been crazy. As you said, going from basically an FEC or smaller park sort of thing into like more of a larger park, even getting close to say like a destination, which is there's some hotels in the plans for Toverland as well. So that's definitely an inspiring story for sure.
Definitely doesn't surprise me.
If Toverland can do it, so can Fun Spot Atlanta.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
I have this quote where basically if a park has a B&M, you know it's trying to be a big park.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you need to have a pretty good budget to add one of those for sure. So I can definitely see that. Any other ones just in general that were of interest? Or
I thought the one for Parque Warner was pretty good. That they announced their future plans to include like a hotel and maybe a second park.
Yep. I forgot to put these up during, but yeah, that is pretty much what's going on. It's either it said either a major new area or a second park. I guess they're not really clear. Personally, I'd rather they go with, if it's going to be a small thing where they're considering making it a new area, just make it a new area. They might be inspired by Ferrari Land and Port Aventura, which is, I would say, more of a just glorified themed area than an actual park, but they have separate admission for it. I've been there, and it definitely felt that way. But we'll have to see what happens there. Definitely some ambitious plans regardless. So
I'm like drawing a blank. What's like the standout coaster at Toverland? Is that where Troy is?
yeah, Troy, and then you have Phoenix, the B&M Wing Coaster that just opened there recently. But I think most people would say they go there for Troy if they're going there for a specific coaster.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say I couldn't think of anything, but yeah, Troy looks good. The GCI.
Yeah, it looks similar to Thunderhead.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
I think that I've seen some comparisons to it, so yeah.
For me, it has to be Thorpe Park's logo. Like, I like the original so much better. Like, this is just minimalist design, while the other one had like character.
Yeah, I don't know what Thorpe Park was thinking with their new logo. It's so basic.
I will be right back, guys. Sorry, I have to step out just 1 second.
Alrighty. Sounds good. But I do agree with Thorpe Park. Like, well, I will say I thought the like sort of helices, it had the blue and orange helices around the logo was cool. I thought the font was a little weird for the old one, so I was actually intrigued to see what they would do with the new one. And as you said, it's very minimalist. I guess they've mentioned, with like the branding when they announced it, at least they can turn it into a bunch of different colors pretty easily and incorporate into like posters and branding better, I guess. But I'm like, I think you could have done a little more of that. I mean, I'm surprised they got rid of the two helices because I thought that was like a big part of the logo. To not even have those here is pretty surprising, and I think it is way too simple. So I do think in that sense it is a downgrade. So I would agree there. But
I'm back.
All right.
sounds good. Alrighty, next we'll move into our second to last news thing, which is I just made a whole Universal news thing because it was enough for its own thing. So several different updates. Universal Studios Hollywood has released a Fast and Furious Supercharged Studio Tour segment survey, and that's gonna be pretty much Nick, we can hear you. Or wait, are you listening? Or can you hear us? Nick, can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Can you hear us, Nick?
Oh, I think that there was an audio issue. Okay, he's gonna come back in. But anyways, we'll move the studio tour segment on Fast and Furious. There was a survey question asking if it would stay, be updated, or replaced, and they even had some IP replacement options that were available for that. They were very strange. The replacement options they had were The Mummy, Animal House, Scarface, Land Before Time, E.T., which that's like the one that made sense, Oppenheimer, and American Graffiti. So some really bizarre choices. I think they don't really know what exactly they're doing.
Anything but Oppenheimer.
Yeah, it sounds like they're just throwing everything at the wall and hoping something sticks.
Yeah. Nick, can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm back.
There we go. Perfect. Awesome. Alrighty. So then we have Epic Universe. We have some Wizarding World trademarks. The dark ride's going to be called Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. At least if the trademarks, they end up using that name. They also have had several restaurant, shops, and entertainment names have been revealed through those trademarks. Most of those with French names because it is going to be based in France, the themed area. And then you have Universal Kids Resort name reveal. I mean, that is going to be the name. There's also concept art. Speculated lands for the area are Gabby's Dollhouse, Trolls, Shrek, Puss in Boots, Jurassic World, Camp Cretaceous, Minions, and then SpongeBob SquarePants, which I'm most excited for, since they're gonna have a Krusty Krab in there. So I guess we'll be able to get Krabby Patties.
Wait, for real? Like as a restaurant?
At least based off the concept art, if you zoom into it, there is a Krusty Krab restaurant. So
I don't even care if it's quick service. The fact that they're gonna have Krusty Krab is gonna be sick. Like they have Krusty Burger at Universal Studios Florida with the Simpsons land. So, I mean, I'm not a big like Simpsons guy, but
for those who are, it's probably incredible for them. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. But like,
SpongeBob.
I watched SpongeBob growing up. That's sick.
awesome. I mean, yeah, I think it's everyone's dream to try a Krabby Patty. Hopefully they're good. I will just say that. That's a huge sort of expectation that they're setting up, but hope to see it. Also, 2 kiddie coasters were shown in the concept art, so wanted to also mention that there for Kids Resort. Universal Studios Japan has fully revealed its Donkey Kong Country area coming in 2024 of spring, along with Minecart Madness, which it will be the coaster that will be headlining the area. Pretty much everything here is also applicable to Epic Universe, so we'll mention that. And then we'll go into our rumors. So potential spoiler warning, I guess I'll just kind of put that here. But here are your Universal rumors. We have 2 of them for potential new resort projects. So there's been rumors for like the past year or so about Universal potentially reacquiring Port Aventura. And there's been, I don't know that I believe it. I'm just going to go over what's kind of been put out. So I had to find this through forums on Inside Universal, and Port Aventura has a also forum where this information has been bound, but supposedly Disneyland Paris employees have been approached by Universal to come to Port Aventura, and the new COO of Port Aventura is confirmed to be from Disneyland Paris, so there is a little bit of evidence, I guess, if you want to say that. Universal has been filing patents in Spain as recently as late November, actually maybe even more recently. That is confirmed. It is out there on Twitter. And then supposedly Universal creative employees have been seen touring Port Aventura. The only thing is an article did come out that some are using as evidence against this happening from a small Spanish site saying that the owners were looking to sell the land and continue to operate the parks and resort. But it did also mention that they were still open to all options, so I don't really take that with much of anything. And also it came out of a like small site, so I don't really know. Honestly, I'll believe it when I see it pretty much for this. I think Universal on the operations side would be wonderful for Port Aventura. That is the one thing they need to improve just in general from the ride side of things, is operations and dispatches from being there, especially with Ferrari Land. So that's Port Aventura. And then you have this Universal London project. This is something that just came out, like sort of not came out because it's not news, it's a rumor. But basically, an insider that is well known within the Universal community named Tomfoolery, very silly name, has claimed that land that has been purchased for a new full-scale Universal resort in the UK, and that a new resort will open before 2030. $271 million was used for land acquisition, according to financial reports of recent Universal financial reports, but no location was given. And another piece of evidence, or I guess that I like piece of evidence that people are trying to use. I'm not saying it actually is, but
It's rumors. Yeah, we got
yeah. Recent financial report, there was a company labeled NVUL Corp with the L supposedly standing for London, since it is next to NVU Texas, which is the park coming to Texas, and NVU in Vegas, which is the Universal horror project going to Las Vegas. But some people have also mentioned that the L could stand for something else. For what it's worth, this insider did have the information correct for the Universal Studios Japan Donkey Kong media date. He put that out I think 2 weeks prior to it happening. that it was going to happen on, I think he said December 5th. It happened in December 5th in Japan, December 4th for us, just because of the time difference. Also, for whatever it's worth, he also said that we will get Epic Universe news on January 25th. So I guess circle that on your calendars if you want to see if that's accurate. But like I said, just complete rumors. Would be exciting to see if one or both of these projects actually happen. But you know, it like I said, it's rumors, especially with like forums and stuff. Hard to put like all my sort of eggs in one basket for this. So any thoughts on like just any of the various bits of Universal, either news or rumors?
They did Woody Woodpecker dirty. That's all I gotta say. Like, feels bad.
The Universal London thing, I don't believe that as of right now. I'll believe that when I see it.
Yeah, that project's too early on to have any opinion on it, in my opinion. Port Aventura, will it happen? I have absolutely no clue. Do I think it would be good for the park management? Yeah, I would say so. Would it risk over IPification? Maybe.
That would be my biggest concern.
Yeah.
Who knows? Everything's kind of just speculation at this point. So,
Port Aventura used to be a Universal park.
Correct. Yep, and that's
Years ago.
part of the reason why.
90s, early 2000s, was it?
Yeah, late 90s, and through the very early 2000s. Yes.
And honestly, you can kind of tell that it used to be a Universal park because it looks a lot like the Universal parks.
In some ways, yes, you definitely you can feel it a little bit. I still would say, having been there, it has a very different overall vibe than a Universal park.
They sold it in 2004, so it's been since 2004. Yeah, 2004 is when Universal sold the property. Yep.
Yeah, so my biggest concern, as Tyler mentioned, overusing IPs would be, like I said, the potential concern there. Because this park, it is themed to different countries around the world, and I think it does a phenomenal job of conveying those. And I mean, the ride themes as is are, or the theming with certain rides are very good, at least with how they look. Some of the queues are kind of bare bones, but at least like presentation wise, they're really good. So that would be my concern.
I feel IPification is more of a modern trend, so they didn't have to worry about it when it used to be Universal Park.
Yeah. My hope would be there is enough land for a third park. I would hope that if Universal takes it over, put in a Universal Studios park next to this, like have this do whatever they want with it, like improve it, and still do additions, but do things that make sense within the park. Ferrari Land is kind of a weird, I don't know what happens with it. Maybe I would like to just see it become a themed area in that park, but with the way the entrances is set up, I don't know if that would really work. But yeah,
becomes a Fast and Furious ride.
Yeah, people have come out with that, and I mean that'd be pretty funny if they went with that. I assume there's just a little too much infrastructure. They'd probably have to work out a deal with Ferrari. I don't think they could just completely overlay that to be Fast and Furious themed, but that would be pretty funny. So,
I threw a little question in the chat there for everyone. Since we were talking about Universal, we got a couple viewers in here. I said, what's everyone's number one bucket list coaster at a Universal park? Mine would absolutely be Flying Dinosaur. What about you three?
I'd agree.
Probably hard to beat, but I think it might end up being the DK roller coaster when it opens.
Fair.
I meant like already operating, but I mean, hey, yeah, I could see that too.
Star Galactica looks really good, actually.
It does look good. You're right. I also think Hollywood Dream looks pretty good as well.
As of right now, there's nothing that can touch Flying Dinosaur.
I'm in agreement there for sure. The only thing is, if you did include upcoming projects, the Fast and Furious coaster coming to Universal Hollywood.
Hell yeah. Me and
Yeah,
Jason
that's
agree
really
on
exciting.
this. Fast and Furious Supercharged at Universal Studios Florida is a good ride. We're like the only two people that think that.
I would disagree with that, but most people would. So
That's what I'm saying. Like, Jason, you agree, right? It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's overhated.
Yeah, I would say it's not good, but I would not call it.
Well, yeah, it's one of the weaker dark rides at Universal for sure, but this is Universal. This is like, they have, I would say, probably the best dark rides out there of any park.
I think
So,
because
like,
I was into that.
I don't know about that.
well, at any other park, Supercharged would like be a great dark ride. It's just because where it's at, I feel like.
I think because I went into that dark ride having heard that it was like awful, that I expected it to be awful, and it's not awful.
I'm a fan of those movies though, so like no matter what it was going to be like, I was gonna find a way to like it. So that's just me.
For sure. We'll move on into our last little bit, just additional rumors.
Hell
First
yeah,
one
what everyone's been waiting for
is-
LaRon news, baby.
Oh my god.
rumor, not even, but supposedly LaRon is removing Condor, which is their Husk Condor, which actually looks like a pretty cool flat ride, so that is unfortunate if it happens. Along with Gravitor, which this is not the ride I had. I couldn't get a picture of it, so that was either by the park or Creative Commons, so I just went with the Indiana Beach one because it's the same model of ride. But that is the Chance Blind carpet. Supposedly those are getting removed, according to a local that reported that mentioned it through Screamscape.
there's one
So
of
we'll
those at
see if
Six
that
Flags
comes
America.
through. The flying carpet, I believe so. Yes. I think it is still there. I forget the name of it.
And there's a Condor at Great Escape right in the
Yeah.
Ghost Town section.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like, I enjoyed the Condor when I went to Great Escape, but
Those
good ride.
Those Condor rides, they seem to be getting removed quite a bit because Hershey Park removed theirs, so did Six Flags Great America and Worlds of Fun.
Yeah, Flying Falcon.
I imagine it's
Yeah.
hard to buy pieces for them. So
Yeah, it seems to be very much maintenance related. And I mean, for both of these types of rides, I think we've been seeing them go at various parks. So obviously not great to see. And then we have the next one, which is if you've been on Instagram, Twitter, probably heard about this at this point. Heck, even YouTube, I think it's been covered. But BGW fans, they did an article talking about the site plan, and this is not confirmed, but just using bits and pieces of information that they have. They believe that Busch Gardens Williamsburg will receive a B&M family invert. They did say there was a possibility it could be a swinging prototype, but that's not necessarily something they're predicting. That's just something that might happen.
That'd
It would
be
be cool
pretty
to
cool.
see.
Yeah,
I hope so. I'm not expecting it, but I hope so. This would be coming in 2025 for the park's 50th anniversary in Drachenfire's former location, reutilizing the station. The coaster will likely have a theme that ties back to and pays homage to the Big Bad Wolf. And it even appears that theming, potentially in the form of facades that you would pass by, will be incorporated with the ride. Like I said, another complete rumor sort of thing, though. BGW fans and parks fans in general, they have been pretty good with leaking these sorts of things out, so I will just say that. But I guess we'll start with you, Nick. Your thoughts on this?
I mean, that sounds very cool. I mean, if they're able to find a way to, I actually didn't know about this. I don't really follow like the BGW fans news site. I mean, I know what it is. I've checked it out before, but I don't keep up with it as much as I probably should, because like I'm a big fan of BGW. I haven't been there in a couple years, but it's a great park, and I think this would be a great addition. I mean, you look like this got Pantheon, so you can't. They're trying to, feed all audiences. Like they went with a thrill coaster, now they're going to go with a family coaster. So I think from a business perspective, it's a good move.
Yeah, and I think it. I have some thoughts on it. I'll get to it in a bit. But Jason, what are your thoughts on this rumor?
So when I first heard about this, honestly, the biggest surprise for me was the lack of surprise. I was not surprised at all when they announced this. The Busch Gardens parks tend to add similar rides, and we know that B&M is a very good manufacturer, and we already know that Busch Gardens Tampa is getting a B&M family invert next year, so why not add one to Busch Gardens Williamsburg the following year? I will say, though,
Yeah, what's it called? Phoenix Rising?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Yep.
I wish they could have honestly put this somewhere else in the park, because Drachenfire's land probably should have been used for something better, if I'm completely honest. That land has been sitting empty for way too long, and it needs something in it, but I was hoping for something better.
Yeah, I don't really have a pulse on Busch Garden Williamsburg, but I remember there was apparently like even track manufactured for Extreme Coaster going here, but it was canceled apparently.
Yeah, so I think in the article it does mention it. I don't know that I hadn't heard necessarily track manufactured, but supposedly the heavy rumor and expectation was it was going to be a large scale like RMC hybrid coaster was going to go in this plot of land, and about a month or two before they were going to start it, it got canned. So that is, if that's true, I mean, I'm not sure that we'll ever get the real answer, but it seems to be that was likely the case. Obviously, this is a letdown compared to that. In terms of like sort of my thoughts on this, I think the ride concept's really cool. I like that they're bringing back a classic ride, of course, like Big Bad Wolf, super iconic in this form. But I wish they just picked a different plot of land to put it in, because it seems like a ride that would be fine like in another area that they could probably find for it, and it's using a plot of land that was the largest expansion space for Busch Gardens Williamsburg. So it seems, and it's also not going to be visible because its location is going to be like behind trees, and it's not a very tall ride, so that might be an issue as well to hike to get back to the area where it's going to be. So questionable in terms of the area they picked for sure. I'm not happy with that, but I do like the idea, and I think if executed well, we could be getting a really cool ride. So
I will say,
it's a smart choice. Oh, go ahead, Jason, then I'll go.
yeah, I was going to say, I will say I'm not crazy about them possibly theming it to the Big Bad Wolf, because the original Big Bad Wolf was such an iconic ride in itself that I don't think anything needs to try and replicate it.
That's a good point.
And also, Nick, when you were talking about that they just added Pantheon and then this would be a family coaster, I think you forgot about Dark Coaster.
I did, but I would say Dark Coaster is in the middle of this and Pantheon. I think in terms of like intensity, I would probably put this last. And I mean, I don't know. It could surprise some people. I mean, this isn't a Zamperla family gravity coaster. Like, this is definitely a step up from that. But at the end of the day, it's still a family coaster. So I think it's a smart choice from a business perspective, as they're trying to, attract all different ages. And I mean, Busch Gardens and SeaWorld parks are always going to be known more so for their bigger roller coasters, as they should be. But it's nice that they're, making a point to add more family rides with Penguin Trek, Phoenix Rising, and then this.
If it does end up getting themed, I just hope they wouldn't cheap out on the theming like they did with Dark Coaster.
Well, yeah, that's a conversation for another day.
My hope is, if they were, especially if they were to theme it to Big Bad Wolf, because a big part of that was going next to like facades, they would incorporate that and it would be well done. So I would hope that would be part of the plan. Obviously, it's going to be a while before we get like an announcement or other ways of confirmation, but yeah, we'll have to see what happens. So that'll wrap it up for the news. I hadn't done this while with guests, so actually I'm probably for future gonna I think I'm probably gonna trim it a little bit because this went a little longer than I was anticipating.
It's all good, man. Now we can see everybody's faces again.
There we go. So we'll move on into our next segment, which is something called Guess the Coaster. So I'll explain this for.
I've played this with some of my friends in line for coasters.
Yeah, Jason and I would do it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
There you go. So for those of
It's a
you
good time killer.
watching, yeah, I mean for sure, I've done it with friends as well online. We're bringing. The cool thing is, it's been able to be brought into the sort of live stream settings. So with Guess the Coaster, basically how it works is one of us will think of a coaster, and those of you in the chat will ask questions, yes or no questions. And whoever is thinking of the coaster will answer them, and those will serve as clues to get you closer to figuring out what the coaster is, and you'll try to guess the answer for the specific coaster. We'll be rotating around in terms of who is the one who has the coaster in their head, and actually for my guests here,
You didn't even say anything yet. The dude's already guessing. Is it Nessie? Relax.
It's that guess is always like it's sort of a thing with the stream. There's certain coasters that people like hope for that it eventually is.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah. It's a meme coaster for the channel. Artie, I have my first one. So guess away in the chat, and then for the four of us, I'll just mention that if you're going to put your answer in, type it in private chat because we're ahead of time compared to the viewers. So I'll just say that. But we'll be running questions based off the chat, if that makes sense. So it'll be the plan. So guess the coaster starting now. And no, it is not Nessie. I can get that out of the way. It is not a wooden coaster. So not a wooden coaster.
So as they continue to ask clues, you'll give more hints. Is that kind of how it goes?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, I got you.
It is not a B&M coaster, so we really don't have anything to go off of right now. It is not in the U.S. No, this is
If
outside
my
of the
uncle's
U.S.
still watching, he's gonna say, "Is it in Wildwood, New Jersey?" Watch.
Yeah. You did an episode with him and his friend, right? That was one of the more recent ones. That was a really cool episode.
Well, I enjoyed that one.
Oh, you watched it?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that was a great time. Shout out to my Uncle Bill if he's tuning in. He was tuning in. I saw him earlier in the chat.
Bill Galvin, he had no filter when talking about the cyclone. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I love that guy.
It's cool to hear just different coaster enthusiasts, especially of so much experience as well.
So many
like
more
being in the
years
hobby.
ahead of riding all these rides for sure, man.
Yeah, it's a unique experience in the social media space for sure. So I really appreciated it. It is not in Efeskesen and it is not in Asia. So it is not in Australia. We really don't I'm trying to think if we actually have anything that this coaster is. I mean, I guess it's not a wood coaster, so I can just say it's a steel coaster.
So far, I'm getting it's a steel coaster, probably in Europe.
Yep, it is in Europe. We'll go with that.
Is
You
it
can ask questions.
Is it operational or defunct?
It is operational, yep. So we have an operating steel coaster in Europe.
All right,
It is not G-Force.
I just wanted to make sure you didn't throw a defunct coaster out there.
Yep, that whenever I do that most of the time gets people because it's not something they're thinking of. So really good question there. It is not from Vekoma. So still, it is not Flucht von Novgorod.
That's a random guess.
Come on, guys, let's narrow it down a little bit.
It is not in the UK. Sometimes people will just shoot these out of nowhere and they'll get it. It's very rare, but it occasionally happens.
Also,
Is it Arctic Adventure at SeaWorld San Diego?
Oh my god. Yeah, that you called it that for an episode.
Several episodes actually.
Oh, several? Dang.
I have some guesses.
Let's see. Is
Ride to
it
Happiness. That's a good guess, Tyler Burke.
not quite? It is not in Germany. It is not Blue Fire, but it is an Intamin. So we have an Intamin steel coaster in Europe. So
Throw one out in the dark. Then is it Tornado at Bakken?
no, it is not Tornado at
Good
Bakken.
guess. That's so
And actually-
random. I would not have thought of that.
If one of you three guess, type it in the private chat so that way, because the viewers are behind, so
All right.
they have a chance to guess.
Intamin
Coaster,
in Europe.
Coaster Evan got it. It is Red Force at Ferrari Land.
Okay.
That is the
Sure.
Oh, nice. Okay.
correct answer. Yeah, no, I got it. I use RCDB for this. I tried to get a notable coaster, and I was like, oh, well, that's convenient. But yeah, Red Force at Ferrari Land, which
I'll go
I'm
next.
a lot lower on it. Yeah, Nick will go next, and then it'll be Jason and Tyler, and then we'll do one more round that way, and that'll be the plan. So Nick, let us know when you have your coaster.
I got my coaster.
Already chat, guess away, and I guess we can also ask questions. And
I don't think I need RCDB for this one. I think I got it.
all right, I'll just type my questions in the chat too.
Bruh. What? Like, really?
Wait, really?
It's not cannibal. No, it's not cannibal.
Dang.
Dude, that's like, you're a real one. You definitely saw all the episodes of The Thrill Life. You know me well. It is not in Wildwood, New Jersey. Sorry, Uncle Bill. Is there an animal in the name? No. Good guess, though.
Is it in the U.S.?
It is in the U.S.
Okay.
Tyler, shut up. It's not Talon. Like, it's not one of my, like, meme coasters, if that makes sense. Like, it's not a coaster that I'm necessarily known for. I'm just putting that out there right now. It's not Mamba. Good guess, though. Yeah, so it's not Talon. It's not Superman Ride of Steel. It's none of those rides. It's not Steel Force. No, it's under 100 feet. Like,
Okay. That's helpful.
10 feet under 100 feet, so around the 90-foot mark.
All right, I'll take it.
Bruh. This is crazy. Inversions. No inversions.
I think I may know what it is.
Is it blue? No.
Never mind.
What were you going to say? Blue Hawk?
No, I was gonna guess Lightning Run.
Oh.
That's over 100, I think. Just
Oh, no,
I
Blue Hawk-
immediately
Blue Hawk
thought of
has
that, but I was
inversions.
like,
Never mind, yeah.
yep. Let's see.
Diamondback? No. B&M? No. Coaster Evan, is it wooden? It is wooden.
Okay, that makes it a lot more.
Is it east of the Mississippi?
I don't know. I didn't pass
Oh.
geography.
In the Midwest or in the East?
East.
Okay.
Not a GCI, not Prowler. Let's look at the chat. It better not be Hurler. Well, it is. No, I'm playing. It's not Hurler.
Thank goodness.
That would have been tough.
Was it made before the year 1990?
Originally, before it was relocated, yes.
Oh, okay. Hold up.
I know.
Okay. All right. Someone can get this pretty quick in chat.
Give it in the chat, yeah.
All right. Let's see.
Not Gravity Group. Come on, you guys are smarter than that.
No.
No, not Phoenix.
Yeah, I think I know which one it is. For some reason, I'll just if I'll just type it in private. I might be wrong, but don't say it if I got it right.
No.
Okay, it's not that one. It's not. Okay.
No.
Wait, still no?
Jason, do you know?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it probably is that one. Don't say it if it is.
All right, I'll give the chat a minute. But Jason, I think it was Jason who said it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was me who said that.
Coaster Evan got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
There
Comet
you
at
go.
Great Escape. That's a really fun ride. I think even when they add Bobcat at Great Escape, the Gravity Group this year, that Comet will still be my favorite ride in the park. However, I am looking forward to Bobcat.
Really? Huh. I went to Great Escape and I was not a fan of Comet.
Really? Well, you're a bigger guy than me, so like, I don't know. Those PTC trains are, at least people say that for bigger guys, it's harder to fit. Is that what it was?
No, I fit fine. I just didn't get that much airtime.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember flying out of my seat on that one. What's your favorite PTC?
Actually, wait.
then?
All my rides were in the morning though, so
Wait,
okay,
Nick.
that's fair.
What year did you ride? Did you ride Comet? I'm curious, Nick. What year?
Was it 2019?
Okay, hold. And then Tyler, what year did you ride it?
started this year.
That explains it. Most people that I've heard said that after 2019, it didn't feel the same. Don't know why. That's just what I've heard.
Tyler
So,
Brooks a fan.
yeah, I remember hearing that from some people.
That's
so I'm like,
disappointing
that
to
might
hear.
make
Yeah, I'm going
sense.
off my experience in 2019. So that's my plan to go back to both New England and Great Escape this year, and hopefully Lake Compounds for the first time.
Can I just say at SeaWorld San Diego today, the ride opposite Manta, they made us like change seats twice.
That's
Really?
odd.
It's whatever. The restraints
That's
were
weird.
on me.
I was gonna say, was it the restraints that was the issue? Are there larger seats or something?
It was the restraints. We don't understand why though.
Aren't they the same in every row?
Yeah,
Yes.
and I went
That's
on
so
the train
random.
again, and that seat worked for me. So
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, that is strange. Jason, you're up next to
I already have my coaster in my head.
already
Is it Mystery
check.
Mine?
Guess so.
No.
is it in the U.S.?
Yes.
All right.
Alrighty.
I'm just gonna type every coaster I could think of in the private chat.
No, it is not in either of those. Is it Little Phantom? No. Is it Wooden? No.
All right. I'll stick to my east of the Mississippi question.
No.
Okay. So it's not in Texas and it's not in California.
Wait.
Oh no.
Are you sure you know where the Mississippi River runs?
Yeah.
Wait, okay. Texas is west of it. If it's in Texas, yeah, it's west of it.
Don't ask me. I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, because you were asking, is it east of the Mississippi?
Yeah.
It
Let's
is not.
go.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's not. Okay. All right. There you go.
Sorry.
All good. So
Is it at Chain Park? Yes. Is it Steel Eel? No. Is it in Pennsylvania? No.
Good guess, Tyler.
Is it in Texas? Yes.
Oh,
All
I
right.
think I got it.
No.
Nah,
Really?
because
it's not a chain park.
And it's not a
Oh,
Wooden.
yeah, and it's
you
and
said that,
it's
you said that. My bad. I missed that.
it's steel also. So
Is it Great White? No.
Well, that's a good guess.
just absolute random one, hopefully.
No. No.
Oh, you know what? Since you asked it earlier, is it defunct?
No.
Okay. I was like,
Wait, no, that's not in Texas. Never mind.
But
RMC.
no,
It is RMC.
Ooh.
Oh, that's that.
I narrowed it down to 3.
Come on, Chad. You got it.
Yes, it is Iron Rattler.
Nice.
yeah, Stanford Bridge got it. All right, and
But Shaq,
also Nick and
you got
chat.
it too, Nick.
Stanford
Yep.
Bridge, what a real one.
Yeah, it was Iron Rattler.
All right, I'm gonna go hard on mine. So
Okay.
start guessing away.
Manta at SeaWorld San Diego.
Is it in America?
No.
Crap.
Okay,
I
I'm
said
down.
Boardwalk
I
Florida.
can.
I would not have thought of that.
No, it's not in Europe. It is defunct.
Oh,
It is defunct.
Oh.
Okay, let's
No.
go.
You gotta be kidding me.
Wait a
Is it,
minute.
oh, what the hell is it called? At Wild Adventures.
It's in Asia.
Oh, you did say it's in Asia.
Oh, I don't. I put. Oh, Jason was thinking the same thing.
It's not Evil Fortress.
And Stanford Bridge
Oh,
also thought of it. Okay. Yeah, because we brought up Big Bad Wolf earlier. Yeah, that was where my where I was thinking. Let's see.
I was thinking for a minute before you said it was in Asia. It could have been that wooden coaster at Wild Adventures. Now I can't even. Oh, Cheetah. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's in Asia. All right, that makes it a lot harder.
The coaster that I sat in the train for, but is long
It
gone
is
now.
steel.
You did.
Okay.
It is not.
Oh, that's a
Minnesota.
good guess by Stanford Bridge.
I forgot that coaster existed.
You said it's steel. It's not wooden.
And it is in Japan.
Okay. Let's see. There's a few to work with there. Oh, you're not gonna say that it's. I'm gonna put it in private chat just in case.
It is not.
Okay.
Technically,
I was gonna be like, technically,
that's SB&O. Yeah.
yeah, it has a pulse.
All right, I'll just say it is a stand-up coaster.
Okay. Boy, those.
Oh, I'll let the chat get it. That's funny.
Oh. I can't remember.
It is a Togo.
Oh, that narrows it down.
The stand-up coaster it about had to be a Togo.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's a decent amount of Togo stand-ups that have been built
Come on, chat.
in
I
Japan.
believe in you.
And it's bothering the heck out of me that I can't. I mean, it might be the one that was mentioned, and we're just waiting for chat to get it.
I think I know it, but I'm gonna let the chat get it.
It's not Ultra Twister.
All right, chat is bamboozled.
Tyler said Skyrider.
So a defunct Togo.
Technically, Skywriters still exists. Just
Technically.
some in Italy.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
style now. Is what it's called.
yeah.
I'll give you a hint. It was at a larger park in Japan
All right.
that has a very notable ride at it.
Oh wait.
A is a hint there. Only one. Yep.
Can't remember the name. I can't remember the name of the park.
Oh, I was gonna say it, but I'm like, I won't because I know what it is. But
Did you have it, Nick?
I'm waiting for the chat.
I like the pick because I know I know the code. I can't for the life of me remember the name. Like because I think I know why. But yeah, this chat will have to do it. So have they given up?
You may have.
I think I may have.
You may have stumped them.
It's good. So, do you two want to make a guess, and then Nick can tell you guys what it is?
Oh, Nick knows. Okay,
I
what?
think I know.
You know what? We'll just do that because I think at this point everyone's just completely stumped. What is it?
Oh, I don't want to say. I want the chat to get it.
It
Come on,
is.
Oh wait,
chat.
Stamford Bridge did make a guess.
It is a standing coaster.
There, I think is literally
This
one
is taken
call
away from
named
the
that.
fun if I say it.
But like,
Here's a hint: it's part of the name.
it is part of the name.
Also, I'm not positive anyway, so I'd hate to,
Wait a sec.
but I think I have a good guess. But I want to see if someone else can get it.
I think that's how it's. I think that's what the park's.
Yeah, that's the park. It's
Yeah,
in.
that's the park it's in. It's
I just remembered.
Here, I'll let chat know when it's in Yomiuri. It was in Yomiuri Land.
It's such a random coaster.
I would not.
I said I was gonna make it hard.
well, it's not technically. Well, I guess I can just say it because I mean you mentioned what park it's in. This was the original stand-up, I believe, like true, like original, like first one to have stand-up trains, if I'm correct. So,
I mean, should I just say it now?
Yeah, Stanford got it.
Yeah.
oh wait,
you got
oh no, Stamford Bridge got it. Oh my,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Momonga standing.
Momonga standing in loop coaster.
I don't know how you came up with that.
I'm
That's
pretty
so
sure that's
random.
like the.
I remember that one because I was like, oh, I remember that coaster. And then the day I checked, it's the day it went defunct.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah,
Stanford
that was.
Bridge definitely opened another tab and checked RCDB.
He is Stanford. I believe Stanford Bridge because like he
He's
can
got
get
that
some.
knowledge. Okay.
Yeah. Like I knew what the coaster was. I just for the life of me could not remember the name. But that was a good one.
Until just a few minutes ago.
He said you threw me by saying it was a big park.
Sorry. I meant notable park.
Yeah. Oh my god. All right, I have mine. Guess away.
We're going one more round?
Yeah, just each, I guess.
All right, cool.
So,
Is it Loch Ness Monster?
let's see. It's not Loch Ness Monster. I was looking at chat and I was like, it's not. It's not in Canada. Actually, I'm gonna make.
I'm just gonna name every Tyler Burke ride. Flight Deck
Shame.
at Canada's Wonderland. No.
Nope.
Le Vampire at La Ronde.
Wait, I said it was not in Canada, right? I said not. I said
I
not,
can think
right?
of more Tyler Burke rides. Ravine Fire 2.
It's not in California. This ride. It's not Ravine Flyer 2. It is in the U.S. though. We are in the U.S.
Okay.
All right. The Beast. He loves the Beast.
Nope. It's not Texas Stingray. It's not an invert. It is in the southeast. Yep, that is correct. And it is in Florida. So yes. So we do have a Florida coaster. So and I think
Is
that's
it Pipeline?
no. It's not it's not Iron Gwazi.
Orlando.
It's not in Orlando.
I'm just gonna go really random because I know everyone forgets that one.
It's not Flight of the Hippogriff. It's not Hurricane.
Hurricane at Fun Spot Atlanta.
No.
Florida.
It is not in Kissimmee. Coaster haven't got it.
Daddy.
It's Daddy Pig's roller coaster. Kid you not.
Hell
Got it
yeah.
on RCDB. So, like, yeah. There you
The
go.
coaster one, wasn't it like top 3 like a couple years ago when it debuted for like the best new roller coaster because the coaster
USA
enthusiasts-
Today, it made
they
it
all-
pretty high.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
coaster enthusiasts screwed up, came together and did that just to screw it up.
I
What,
think
Daddy?
I think
What are you talking about?
Zamperla
Daddy
was
Pick looks
somewhat
awesome.
I think Zamperla was somewhat promoting people to do that. If I remember, I forget if they promoted it before or after the fact to just being like, "Hey, look at Daddy Pig's roller coaster making the
Y'all
top
hating on
3."
Daddy Pig.
So, that was pretty funny. But Nick, you're next.
All right, ask away. Or guess away, I should say.
And actually, I'm going to make a little change to the schedule. The news took a little longer than I was expecting. So if it's all right with all of you, after the Guess the Coaster, we're gonna go into the countdown and then final Q&A. Since Buy or Sell is basically just kind of another version of Q&A. So
Okay.
Sounds good.
Usually, I guess I'm just kind of in the dark because I don't really watch these. How long do these go for?
So
I've
let's
tuned
see.
into a few, but I always forget. This is cool though. I'm gonna start tuning in.
Yeah. So I mentioned in chat about like 2-ish hours is about what I try to do for these. So I usually, well, now that's what I'm doing because the previous ones have gone for a really long time, and I'm trying to get a format that is short enough. I'm gonna have to tweak with the news. I haven't done a guest stream in a while, and I always forget whenever I have like 2 or 3 guests. It adds a lot of time to certain segments. So
You gotta find a good in between. I got you.
yeah. So even 49 episodes in, I'm still like trying to find that balance. But yeah, that's kind of how it usually goes. So
Hey man, our Thrill Life episodes were so random. Some of them would be 20 minutes, some of them would be an hour and a half, some of them would be
Yep.
45 minutes. It was kind of just one of those things where if everything was going good, like why end it early? Just like the episode with my uncle and his friend, they were told so many awesome stories that originally going into it we had planned for like 40 minutes and it went over that. But I mean, I was okay with it because to be completely honest, that was of all the episodes, because I edited all of them, I think that was one of the better ones. I was really happy with how that one turned out.
All right.
for sure, yeah, it was a really good episode. So I can definitely vouch for that. So
All right, so back to this. It is green.
Yep. It is green. Nice.
Is it wooden?
There's green wooden coasters. It's not wooden.
Okay,
no.
well, it's not wooden. There is. I can think of one. Oscar's Wacky Taxi is a
Oh,
green structure.
Yes, yeah, I guess kind of. It is not Hydra the Revenge, but great guess. Stamford Bridge.
Awesome. Yeah, I was like, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, yeah, it's probably it.
Yep, the Incredible Hulk coaster. Love that ride.
Oh, of course.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it as well. So
I
there
have
you
that
go.
at number 2 at Universal.
Jason, you have your coaster in mind?
Well,
Green
that was,
Lantern's a good guess too, Tyler.
let me think of one. All right, I got one.
Alrighty, chat, guess away.
I'm just gonna do this for CoasterTyler and Jason. Just for you guys, just for the hell of it.
Is it in the U.S.? Yes. Is it Wooden Warrior? No. No, it is not Cannonball at Lake Winnie.
I should have. Yeah, I have a story of that ride. I have not ridden it.
Bill Galvin spoke highly of
but-
Lake Winnie. You got to take me there sometime, Jason.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
I didn't. I was literally in Chattanooga last year, and I didn't realize where Lake Winnie was in relation to it, and until we were heading back to Atlanta from Chattanooga, and I'm like, oh my god, I just missed out on my opportunity to go this park. That sucked. But
Chattanooga, that's where I live.
hey, there you go. So I was there last year.
Is it orange, Jason?
Yes, it is orange.
Depends who you ask, but is it Goliath at Six Flags Over Georgia?
No.
I was gonna say, because that's supposed to be orange, but it's not anymore.
Yes.
I mean, is it an invert?
No. It's not an invert, sorry.
Not an invert.
Is it Six Flags Park? No, it is not. It is Six Flags Park. Goliath at Magic Mountain? No. Behemoth? No.
Good guess, Tyler Burke. That was
Chain-
actually going to be my next guess.
At Chain Park? No, it is not.
Oh well, then
Is it
you can
bright
disregard the
orange,
guess
or
I
is
just
it
made.
like dark
Is it a-
orange?
Is it a B&M? No. And it's not Icebreaker. It's
Ooh,
not
that's a good
Dominator.
guess. That's a good
Well,
guess. Is it? Oh, you said it's not a B&M. Never mind. I was gonna say because some people would say Yukon Striker is like dark orange.
Kind of.
Oh,
kind of a
Coaster Evan had a good guess. I wouldn't be surprised.
version. Yes.
No, Coaster.
Look above it.
Oh, Fahrenheit. Yes, it is Fahrenheit.
All right,
Dang,
Fahrenheit.
There you go.
W ride, former #1.
All right.
Yeah, I did that for you, Nick.
Thank you. You're a good friend.
I also have this ride with someone in mind. So go ahead.
Already
start the
sounds good.
Shouldn't be too hard.
Is it Cannonball Lake Winnie?
No.
uh,
All right. It is not in the U.S.
bro, he's gonna throw us off with some coaster at one of those like Happy
No.
Valley China parks that nobody's ever heard of.
No. It's not meant to be scary. It is not in Finland. It is not Stealth at Fort Park. It is not in Asia.
Oh wait.
Also, if you guys are watching this, my grandma made me this
Europe.
blanket. I just realized this was behind me.
It's not in Europe.
Okay.
Just realized this was behind me, but it's all old T-shirts I had put on a blanket.
Nice. That's actually really cool.
All old coaster T-shirts. Yeah, that didn't fit me anymore. So pretty cool. Thought I'd point that out.
Oh, it's not Wodon. It's not wooden either.
It is. Wait, did he say it was not in Europe or?
Not in Europe. It's not in Asia, and it's not in America.
Okay.
Oh gosh. Oh wait.
It's not in Canada.
Stamford Bridge, man.
It is
Shout
in
out to whoever you are. You've been here since the beginning of the
not
stream.
Drive.
Mm. Crap.
That's a good guess, DC Rivals.
I said it's not wooden.
Oh.
Wait, but it is not. You said it was in Australia, or?
Yeah.
Okay, it is. Okay.
All right, is this one that like people are actually gonna know? Because that last one, that Togo stand up.
It's not Abyss. I almost made it Abyss, but it's not Abyss.
Oh.
Is it Formula at Energylandia?
No.
It's in Australia.
Oh, it is in Australia. Okay. Oh, Tyler said the SLC. I forget the name.
No, it is not defunct.
I think it was Batman Arkham Asylum or something like that.
It was called Lethal
No, it's not
Weapon.
Superman.
It was called Lethal Weapon, and then it was called Arkham Asylum Shock Therapy.
It is Steel.
Yep.
It is not TNT. It's not Scooby Doo. It's
Is
not
it?
Green Lantern or Tower Terror. Tower Terror is defunct.
Yep. I put that in prior.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh crap! What's it called? I think that's what it's called.
It's not that.
Ah,
It is not Skyloop. It's not Jet Rescue.
mm.
Oh, hold up. Okay.
Good guess.
Stanford Bridge.
Icon.
Nope. Okay, never mind.
All great guesses. can you give them the color, or will that give it away too much?
Sure. The track is yellow.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't
it's
remember.
that.
Oh,
I
yeah, I know what you're thinking of.
yep.
The name of it though.
Charge got it right.
Yep, Big
Dipper.
Dipper at Luna Park, Sydney. Yep, that would make sense.
Shout out to Maloney Coasters.
Knock off single rail.
The name.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of manufacturers are making single rail nowadays, so
That's fair. That's fair. Yellow the ride. Hell yeah.
French fried ride.
Yeah, French fry the ride
Yep.
is right.
exactly. Funny how like half of maybe not at this point, but almost half of the single rail coasters have a yellow and red track, like, or not track, but like color scheme. That's pretty odd.
Yeah.
So
They should partner with McDonald's.
someone should. I mean, if they're gonna make that many, it's like somebody's got to do it. So
Yeah.
for sure. But that'll do it for the segment. Coaster Evan, I ended up tallying whoever got the most points. Coaster Evan got it with 4, so congratulations there. And we'll move on to our countdown. This is going to be 5 rides that surprised us in 2023. Now, obviously, Jason and Tyler, you are not done. You have a lot of parks that you're going to, a lot of rides, but this will be out of the bunch that you've ridden.
You guys got 3 more parks, right? Knott's, Magic Mountain, and what's the other one I'm missing?
Pacific Park.
And
Pacific
we're going
Park.
to try and squeeze in Belmont.
We're gonna try and squeeze in Belmont on the way back.
Okay, nice.
Nice. Yep.
I got my list right here.
Should be a fun time. And the order we're going to go in, I did it by alphabetical order of channel/social media name. So Nick Beyond the Thrills will be first. I'll be second. Jason will be third. And Tyler will be fourth. Splitting hairs with the 3 of us because it's like coaster. All of us have coaster in the name. So it's like, yeah.
I don't.
Well, yeah. Yeah, Nick, you were the only one. So
Nick, good job on starting your account with a B, not a C.
there you go.
Hey, man. One step ahead.
All right.
Already. What is and also I guess if you have any honorable mentions before we go into it, but
No, I don't think I have any honorable mentions. I think I'll just go right into it. Not anything I can think of as of right now. Actually, yeah, I will throw one in there as an honorable mention. I'll throw Turbulence at Adventureland.
Adventureland LA, let's go.
That almost made my list, but it wasn't enough to be an honorable mention. Great spinning coaster. Best I've been on.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
We'll see. I'll see how Sierra Sidewinder compares tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's a good point.
Oh yeah. I haven't done Turbulence, but Sierra Sidewinder is really quite good in my opinion. Second best spinner I think I've done. But yeah. Nick, what is your number 5?
So, yeah, the honorable mention was Turbulence. Shout out to Adventureland, Long Island. But my number 5 is going to be Great American Scream Machine at Six Flags Over Georgia. This ride doesn't have great airtime or anything, but it's running great for its age. Now, I know the park has done a lot of work to it in the past couple of years.
Never rode it when it was old Scream Machine.
Yeah, I heard some bad things about it in the past,
It was
but
awful.
yeah, I heard some bad things about it in the past, but no, the Scream Machine that I was able to ride this past spring was awesome. Would we ride it like 3 times? Nah, Nate was a big fan too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we rode it in the front. I got a back row ride, maybe like 3rd row, somewhere close to the back. We probably ended with like 5 rides on the entire trip because we went to over Georgia twice. That sounds right anyway. I'd have to look back, but yeah, very fun ride, very photogenic over the water. The only thing that I don't really like about it is they didn't like paint everything, like all the new wood. It's just like so generic, and it's just the normal wood. Like they didn't even make an attempt to paint it white or with like the red rails. I was like, all right, I guess they just want it to kind of fade over time. I thought that was a little interesting, But no, it's a good ride. I think it deserves to be on here. Only reason why I didn't put Turbulence on here is because I feel like Turbulence is known for being really good, where like this ride would come as a surprise to a lot of people, and it did for me. So I'll put it at number 5.
I was here on that too. Like there are rides that are a lot better than the ones that I've ridden this year on my list, but I had higher expectations for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I didn't expect Scream Machine to be as good as it was. It had, again, not every hill had airtime, but it was a lot more intense than I had anticipated. And the couple airtime hills that it did have pulled some pretty strong positive G's, I'd say. So.
All right, nice. And I was able to ride Scream Machine last year, right off the retrack basically, and all the work they did. I thought it was a pretty fun ride, but as Jason mentioned, you know, a big difference between old and new. I never rode it as the old one either, so
We did, and it was rough.
yeah,
I believe it.
Oh yeah,
the reputation it has
gritted teeth.
was not good, so definitely could see that. My number 5 is going to be, and I'll just go right into it, is going to be Lightning Run at Kentucky Kingdom. So similarly, this is most surprising, so I'm not ranking it based off the 5 best coasters. Now, this is one of the 5 best new coasters I rode this year, but most of these other ones aren't. Or we're going to have some of these other rides that aren't necessarily that, but this ride, like, I expected it to be pretty good. I did not know that, I mean, I didn't think it was going to be my favorite coaster at Kentucky Kingdom. It ended up being so by quite a bit, honestly, after 8 rides. The airtime is so strong on it. I thought the day I went, maybe Storm Chaser probably wasn't running the best. I thought Lightning Run had the stronger airtime between the two of them when I went earlier this year. And I mean, that layout is awesome. The first hill is a really good element. There's also an outward banked hill that I found to be quite good. And the quad hill finale is just insane. I mean, you just get popped 4 consecutive times, like some of the strongest airtime you'll ever find. It makes me super excited for Airy Force 1, which was also designed by Joe Draves, so which I will hopefully get to ride in the next few years. But yeah, Lightning Run, I was expecting it to be good. I was not expecting it to be as good as it was, basically, so that's going to come in at number 5. Jason, what is your number? Or if anyone has any extra things.
I'm just kidding. I'm a Joe Draves super fan, so like,
As you should be.
Mountain construction now.
He doesn't have to make anything else. He made Airy.
Yeah. My quick honorable mention is Revolting at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. That ride is so good, and no one talks about it. It actually just got bumped out of the top 5. But my number 5 is actually a water slide. I have River Rush at Dollywood Splash Country as my number 5. This ride is so good. This probably has the best airtime I've ever gotten on a water coaster. It is so good, especially if there's 2 hills in particular that send you up out of your seat. It's like Wildebeest at Holiday World, that kind of good. Yeah, this is probably the most surprising water coaster because, like, the ones at Holiday World, you expect those to be good, and the ones at Soaky Mountain, you expect those to be good. You don't really hear a whole lot about River Rush. So River Rush is so good. It's easily the best ride at Dollywood Splash Country. Sorry.
Awesome. The water park there, I've heard good things about it. Was not able to visit it a few years ago, but good to hear. I haven't heard much about River Rush, so that is definitely intriguing to hear about it.
The Pro Slide hydromagnetic water coaster.
All right, sounds good. And then Tyler, what is your number 5?
So I'm going to go ahead and start with my honorable mention, and I'm going to make this my honorable mention because if I don't think it qualifies for the list, but if it did, it would be number 2 on the list. And it's the Born Spectacular show at Universal. Absolutely floored me and was not expecting that going in. Just fantastic show. But getting back to rides, my number 5, and I feel like it might pop up on this guy's list a little bit later, is Arctic Rescue at SeaWorld San Diego. Absolutely blew.
There you go.
Great coaster. We were able to get a bunch of rides in it. Back row's the way to go. whippy transitions. Not really airtime, but
Never heard of it.
always
Arctic Adventure I've heard of though.
Yeah. Arctic Revenge.
Didn't expect it, but I ended up thinking it's a top 2 ride in the park.
Alrighty, and when I saw your guys' stories, I was pretty surprised to see that because most of like kind of the locals I've heard from, they're kind of like it's a fun ride, it's a good ride, but not necessarily like one of the absolute best in the park. But I love hearing that it was like one of your
Emperor
favorites.
would probably be my favorite at that park.
It's a toss up between Emperor and Arctic Rescue.
I think
for the best ride in the park.
I think Emperor's mine, but yeah.
For me, I know you guys did not have the best ride on Manta, but I in my experience, maybe it's a lot different now. I thought it was quite good. So
We can do an entire Manta rant, both of us. We'll leave that for later.
Yeah. We were kind of like ranting on Manta afterwards.
Is it better than Slinky Dog Dash at least?
I don't know.
jeez.
For real?
Yeah, it's more forceful than Slinky Dog Dash, but it's really rattly for some reason.
I thought Slinky Dog Dash, besides the theming, was so like.
I don't know what this guy
Yeah.
said. Better than Slinky Dog Dash.
I think it's a little better.
I was gonna say, I felt like Slinky did nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me. It kind of just meandered around, like, yay, we.
Comfortable restraints.
But he can talk more about Arctic Rescue later when it comes up.
Sounds good. Alrighty, we'll move on. Nick, what is your number 4?
The Flyers at Knoebels. People speak highly of them. However, I didn't think this was going to be like a top 5 flat ride of mine. We did our top 5 flat rides. What was it like? Very recently, Jason, right? It was with Christian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it very recently, and yeah, these are great. I've done some of these Imperial Flyers in the past. I've done the ones at Dorney Park, Six Flags America, and I don't even think it's close. I think the ones at Knoebels are significantly better, and it's so funny. Like, you look at how it's operated, it's like a lawnmower almost. Like,
Yeah,
it's run like a lawnmower.
It's a gas-powered tractor that sends it around.
Is that what it is? Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Close enough.
Yeah. Hey, there you go. Yeah.
It goes
It's,
so fast.
Yeah. Just like Tyler Burke said, it's they're so easy to snap. It's pretty wild. Yeah. Number 4, Flyers at Knoebels.
They look insane. I mean, I have not
You go,
ridden it. I've seen the
way up.
footage.
You can like rip tree branches off. I don't recommend anyone to do that. I'm just saying you can if you have long arms.
The time I rode it, the ride-up, he said, if you're not up by the tree branches, you were doing it wrong. I was like, you would never hear that.
Awesome.
You would never hear that at a big corporate park.
They don't care.
They really don't.
That is awesome. They look super cool. So I am excited. That is definitely probably a top 3 ride at that park anticipation wise for me whenever I get out to it. Behind Phoenix and Twister. But
Like, I'm gonna throw this out there now for people that like follow my content and whatever. Like, I went to Disney this year, like rode Flight of Passage, Rise of the Resistance for the first time. Neither of those 2 are on my list because they were as great as everyone says they are. Where this is supposed to be rides that surprised me. Now, again, I know people speak highly of the Flyers at Knoebels, but me going into it, I didn't think it was going to be as good as it actually was. Like, it's like a notch above what I had expected. Like, it's even better than I had expected. So that's where I stand.
for sure. My number 4 is gonna be the one. The other rides I have on here are coasters, but I decided to include a non-coaster in the form of a dark ride. And I got to visit Enchanted Forest this year out in Oregon. And I got Challenge of Mondor at Enchanted Forest. For those of you who don't know, this is I'm not going into the rides specifically too much, but I will say what the ride system is, which for some might be a spoiler. This is a trackless dark ride, which you would not expect to see a trackless shooting dark ride, which is very surprising for a park like Enchanted Forest to have something like this. There is a little bit of a learning curve with the shooting. and I did get to ride this twice, so I got much better the second time. My brother had it like down on dial, basically his first ride, but I thought the ride had a lot of neat sets, some really cool large-scale animatronic and target designs. The range of movement wasn't like too crazy or anything. This is you know, a family-owned park, but for what it was, I thought it was very impressive. Same could be said with the sets and the theming, though it still kind of retained the same sort of like kind of homemade feel, or at least like only a few people probably like worked on this kind of feel like that most of the park has, but in like a really good way, if that makes sense. So it's a very charming park. This ride is very charming, and I thought the trackless vehicles, you know, you get to go through. The way it moves through the sections, everything, I thought it was really well done. So that definitely was a surprising ride for me. So Challenge of Mondor and Enchanted Forest comes in at my number 4 spot. So I'll mention that one.
All right.
All right. So for my number 4, Tyler kind of already spoiled it, but it is Arctic Rescue at SeaWorld San Diego. We just rode this for the first time today, and oh my goodness, this ride is way better than it appears on paper. It's a toss-up between it and Emperor for the best ride in the park, honestly. I'll say in the front row, Emperor is better than Arctic Rescue, but in the back, Arctic Rescue is better than Emperor for best in the park.
You guys liked Electric Eel, right?
Yeah, we only rode it once, but our one ride on it was easily the best ride I've ever gotten on a Skyrocket, too. It was so good.
Better than Phobia Fear?
I think so, but I don't really remember Phobia all that well. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I know you haven't been to Compounds in a minute.
That was a really good ride on it. So.
Yeah, comfort colors didn't bother me. Did they bother you?
No, not at all.
Nah. Good intensity, smooth hang time on that ride. But talking about Arctic Rescue again, I think it's definitely the best of the 3 straddle coasters at the SeaWorld parks. I like it more than Wavebreaker and Dark Coaster.
Yeah.
To me, what just kills Dark Coaster is the lack of theming. Dark Coaster would be so good if it had such good theming.
Good theming on Arctic Rescue?
Yeah, Arctic Rescue had pretty good theming.
It's pretty good for an outdoor coaster. It is really compact, by the way.
Yeah, it is the best theming I've ever seen for a parking lot coaster.
Yeah, it is a parking lot coaster. Let's be real. It is.
Did you guys get to do it in the front?
We got to do it towards the front, and we did it.
Row 3.
Yeah,
that was the closest you got. Okay.
We also did it 3 times in the back in a row, and no, that's not because we asked for the. That's not because we asked for the back. They just kept getting us the back.
Well, we asked for it.
I feel like on that kind of ride, back is like I don't know. But
Actually,
like you get whipped over because you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Actually, no, we asked for the back once. The other 2 times, they just gave it to us because that's where we were in line. Which, by the way, we took advantage of the single rider line. The line for it was very long, but we took advantage of the single rider line, and they still let us ride together.
Nice.
W ride ups.
We'll take it.
Yeah. I'll say, though, something a little weird. The drive tires kick in later than you would think they would for the first launch.
I haven't ridden one of those, so I can't say. But
yeah, you need to ride Dark Coaster, Nick.
That'd probably be either that or no. Who made Arctic Rescue again?
Intamin.
They were all Intamins.
Okay. For a second, I was thinking it's Zamperla, and I'm like, I've done Steeplechase, but no, that's different. Similar position though.
I almost put Steeplechase on the list, but I didn't.
Good ride,
nice.
Right? I loved it.
Yeah, it's a good ride. Yeah, I don't know why I thought that for a second, but I'm like, nah, I can't beat Zamperla. Yeah, Intamin. All right.
All right.
Tyler?
Yeah, so I guess I have another honorable mention that I didn't put it because I wanted to put it flat, but it didn't reach it quite. Is Adirondack Outlaw at Great Escape.
I hear good things about that ride.
I expected it to be good. I did not expect it to be a top 2 flat ride for me.
What's one?
Tidal Surge at SeaWorld San Antonio. It's the Scream and Swing that's 200.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Scream and Swing. Looks insane.
But my actual number 4 is Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot, Cosmic Rewind. I expected it to have good theming. I did not expect the launches to be as good on it for it to have the intensity that it did, specifically because it was at Disney. I think I was underestimating it going in.
I feel like everyone has ridden that except me.
I have not ridden it for whatever that's worth. I will next year though, but I have not yet.
I forget where I rank it. I think it's my number 7. But yeah, I didn't expect it to crack my top 10, and it did.
It's not quite that high for me, but yeah, I love the thing. All right, let's go on to number 3.
Already, Nick, what is your number 3?
All right. My number 3 is Dinosaur at Animal Kingdom. That was very cool. Now, I know there's rumors right now that they're changing Dino Land, and it's either going to be themed to Indiana Jones or Encanto. Nobody's really sure. However, I would prefer, because of where it's located, it's like somewhat outside of Dino Land. Like on the park map, it's still considered a part of Dino Land, but it's like, you know, put in like a back corner, and it's like away from everything else. So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's Animal Kingdom. Like this is just like a perfect ride for Animal Kingdom. Like it's a dinosaur. I don't know. Like I just thought it was a really cool ride. It was my first time ever doing it. This past spring. Never had ridden it before. And I would say it's like a top 3 attraction at Animal Kingdom for me. I'd probably go Flight of Passage, and then I'd probably go Everest, and then, yeah, probably Dinosaur, to be completely honest. Yeah, it was way more intense than I had anticipated. It, like, really throws you around. Theming's fantastic. Yeah. Shout out to my guy Aiden in the chat. Big Disney fan. And he says it's going to most likely be Indiana Jones. Yeah, I don't know. I would rather it be, if it's going to be rethemed, I would rather it be Indiana Jones over Encanto. But for whatever reason, I just have a strong feeling it's going to be Encanto because that stupid song, We Don't Talk About Bruno, like it's like going off the charts and little kids love it. So they're just going to give the kids what they want.
Oh my god, I just thought Coaster Evan watched the dinosaur movie in theater. Wow, that is amazing.
I've never seen the dinosaur movie. I just
it's a weird bit of Disney history media at this point.
Yeah, originally
but that's funny.
Yeah, originally I didn't know it was themed to a Disney movie. And then when we had gotten off the ride, I was like looking it up. I'm like, is this just like a generic like dinosaur themed ride for Disney? And then I'm like, no, it's like a movie, and it's not like a highly rated movie. So it's weird that they even made an attraction for it. But hey, it's a cool ride. Glad I was able to ride it. Wish I got to ride it more than once, to be completely honest, because I would have, you know, when you ride an attraction a second time or a third time, you look around at different things, and that's one of those rides that there's a lot to look at in there. So, yeah, Dinosaur.
For sure. I have not ridden it. I've ridden Indiana Jones at Disneyland, one of my all-time favorite rides. I think it's absolutely fantastic. So I would be very curious to kind of... I know Dinosaur's different. Generally, the consensus is it's not quite as good as Indiana Jones, but I'm still very curious to see what it ends up looking like and what it ends up being like, because that dark ride model... or system is one of my favorites that I've ever experienced. So
for sure, yeah.
It's an awesome system. So I would love to check this ride out. Hopefully next year as well. So
absolutely,
good pick.
Yeah, thanks. No, it's a good ride.
Alrighty, so my number 3 is gonna be Mr. Freeze at Six Flags Over Texas. I only rode it forwards. I rode it for the first time this year. And this was by far the best premiere coaster I've ever done. I mean, it's not even close. And, you know, I have Full Throttle sort of in my backyard, I guess. West Coast Racers, and some other, I've ridden Icebreaker, some other pretty good premiere coasters. But this one, it blew me away. Also my favorite coaster at Over Texas. The entrance and queue theming for a Six Flags park are quite good. I was very impressed with that. But as for the ride, the inverted top hat element is just insane. Like, it feels like when you go through it, especially the first time, you're almost getting like ejector airtime going upside down. It is just crazy. And then the spike. I mean, especially if like the launches kind of up toward the top, that sense of weightlessness is so insane. Greatest spike of all time on any coaster that I've done. I mean, it's not even close. Those two elements right there already are like so awesome. And then the rest of the ride is very intense, and doing forwards and then going backwards to end it off, I felt it was very disorienting. I would be very curious to see what it would be like going backwards. I wish I could have done both, but they didn't have that process ready yet when I was there. But Mr. Freeze was a great ride, so and one that really was a big surprise. I was not thinking it'd be my favorite coaster at the park, so
You understand the hype. They're so good.
yeah, it's so good.
You've done both, right, Jason? St. Louis as well.
No, I've done the St. Louis one. I haven't done the Over Texas one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I mean, everyone says they're both like equally great. So, yeah, that's awesome. It looks super cool. It'd be the closest thing I would ever get to riding Batman and Robin the Chiller. So I gotta hit one of them.
Yeah.
There you go. Alrighty.
Got Tyler Burke in the chat speaking highly of Mr. Freeze as well. So.
Okay. So for me, this is a bit of an odd one. For number 3, I have X Coaster at Magic Springs in Arkansas.
I like it.
This ride is insane. For starters, you go up the lift hill upside down. You're hanging upside down on the lift hill with just a lap bar. Now, it does come across your waist, not your lap, but I think that's kind of actually a good thing. When you're hanging upside down on the lift hill at the top, it goes through a roll and then back down, halfway up the lift hill again, and then you fall back down, and then you just, yeah. The brakes don't really work on it, so eventually you just come to a stop. But it's intense, and it's smooth, too. I was expecting it to be rough going in, just because the only other major premier coaster, Mauer. The only other major Mauer coaster in North America is Hollywood Rip Rod Rocket, which is just the definition of a Rattler coaster.
So good.
No, I thought X Coaster was smooth, thankfully. And it's easily the best ride at Magic Springs. And if you're going there for any reason, go for X Coaster, because all the other coasters in that park are forgettable.
And that weird red fountain.
Yeah, they only had that. They had that because I went during October.
Oh, I just saw your picture. I'm like, what the heck is with the red fountain behind you? That makes sense. Because they had a Great Adventure too. The fountain in the middle, they like the water is like orange.
Yeah, it's usually blue, but some parks with their fountains they make them red for Halloween.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. I was like, that's so random. I forgot you went in the fall.
Yeah, Magic Springs for their bumper cars, they actually turn them into glow bumper cars for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Big Bad John is a cool mine train. Says
Stamford Bridge. Yeah, he's vouching for Big Bad John.
It is good. And hey, that ride is special to me. That was a Dollywood coaster. And I'm a Dollywood boy.
It was?
Yeah.
Yes, it was relocated. I'm trying to think if was it originally from Dollywood or was it from St. Louis and then it went to Dollywood and then it went to...
It was from St. Louis at first.
Yep.
It was the other side of River King Mine Train, the side that's no longer there.
Yep.
And then it went to Dollywood for 10 years, and now it's in Arkansas.
What a wild journey.
It is.
Cool history.
Train. I mean, all the coaches there only have one train, so that's not great.
Yeah, but at a park like that, like back to Flash at Great Adventure, that's a park that gets crazy attendance. I hope there's a switch track. We don't know, but I just have a strong feeling it's not going to. But like, I feel like Magic Springs could probably get away with it more because they probably don't get that crazy amount of crowds compared to like Great Adventure, who are getting guests from like Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, New York. You go down the list.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure. Tyler, what is your number 3?
So I was going back and forth between my number 2 and number 3, but I think number 2 was personally more surprising for me, even if it's less for the general public. So, but number 3 for me was Cannonball at Lake Winnie. You guys referenced it earlier.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I think Jason said it would have made his list if he didn't ride it last year.
Yeah, or in 2015.
But yeah, this ride's like, I had absolutely no expectations going into it, and it
2 words.
Buzz bars, yeah.
It's got that brake handle.
Yeah, but I meant the title of the name is 2 words, not 1.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Yeah, yep.
but yeah,
I'm probably gonna have some errors in here, but there we go.
You're doing great, man. We've been doing this for like almost 2 hours. You're doing great.
yeah, this ride's great. It has airtime. There's one airtime hill that's even stronger than the airtime on Phoenix.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then into the brakes, it's on par with Phoenix, and it's not rough. It just throws you out of your seat.
It's really smooth.
I completely blew me away.
That reverse POV is awesome that you guys got.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's like as good as some of the better modern wooden coasters, but it's definitely one of my favorites of the classics. Probably, we'll get to it.
Probably, yeah, really good for a coaster from 1967. Yeah, and that's my home roller coaster.
Besides Mystery Mine.
All right, now to number 2.
Alrighty.
Right.
Nick.
I'm up.
Yep.
So happy.
So Jason's not going to be the only person to have a water slide. It's not Thrill a Gas Car. It's Shrek's Sinkhole Slammer at DreamWorks Waterpark. It's one of those tube slides where it's like 4 people. It's like one of those large tubes where you sit in 4 people with like you kind of know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Yeah. This may have been like the longest water slide I've ever been on. All the slides at DreamWorks, let me just say, are like extremely long. Besides like maybe one that like drops into a pool, but like everything there, like these are like full on attractions. These aren't like just like slides that you go on at your local like outdoor water park. Like DreamWorks, they did it right. And Shrek's Sinkhole Slammer is awesome. It's partially like an indoor, just regular tube slide, almost like a family raft slide, but then towards the middle, and there's actually 2, I think. Yeah, there's 2, like giant funnels, or like that's why it's called like a sinkhole, and then it brings you out to the end. But oh my gosh, we were like all the way up on the walls. I thought I had to hold on to the handles. I thought I was gonna fall out. Because I don't weigh a whole lot, so like, I didn't hold on. I'm definitely out of the raft. So Shrek Sinkhole Slammer, I think it's my favorite slide at DreamWorks, which most people would say Thrill a Gas Car, and it's definitely like one of the top slides there, but I don't think it's my favorite. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Shrek Sinkhole Slammer.
Yeah, I really need to get out there. I have no excuse now that I live nearby.
Oh yeah, you live in New York now, right? Dental school, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Jason told me about it. Is that all going well?
Yeah, it's going well.
All right,
Yeah.
good to hear.
You were gonna go to Nickelodeon Universe.
Yeah, I still haven't gone.
Go to DreamWorks.
Hellraiser's
Just
been
go to
closed for
DreamWorks.
2 months. So
It's down from until January 15th, I think I saw.
That's lovely.
Listen, both are very overpriced,
Yeah.
clearly. But if I have to choose between the 2, and I understand you're a coaster enthusiast and you want your credits, but just go to DreamWorks. Do yourself a favor. Your wallet will thank
You'll
you.
go to DreamWorks, so yeah.
Yeah, go to DreamWorks.
That's about the consensus I've heard from those who've been to both. It's like, yes, I know that the other park has the credits, but just go to DreamWorks.
I still can't believe that mall is still open, but they're opening all these new stores in 2024, and like a new indoor glow-in-the-dark mini golf course. So they must be doing well if they're, still expanding.
Nick, me and you should mini golf again.
We should. I'm really good. You guys should see me. I'm very good, actually.
Go watch the
Dang,
casino
all right.
vlog if you haven't already.
No, like, dude, like I'm probably the goat of mini golf.
All right.
Alrighty. I don't know. Are you being like? I would have to watch that vlog because I don't know. Either I'm thinking you're like elite at it, or you're like just really bad and just like trying to.
I would say I'm
So,
the LeBron James of mini golf.
Yeah. All right.
Alrighty.
There you go. Nah, I suck. I'm horrible.
You got a
Yeah.
7 on the hole. Remember that?
I did get a 7 on a hole.
All right.
There we go. Already.
I
My
embarrassed
number
myself.
2. Dang. My number 2 is gonna be, and I will preface, but I'll explain it once we get there, is Kentucky Rumbler at Beach Bend. Now, need to mention that I rode during the first 2 weeks after it got retracked this year. It got both new wooden and some Titan track on it, so was running really well when I was there. I had heard it was like a very low to even bottom tier GCI, and I thought it was a really fun and actually quite good one. And this was the day after Hollywood Nights, so I'd ridden some really good wooden coasters in some great conditions. Kentucky Rumbler wasn't as good as those, obviously, but it still held up as a really fun and good ride. So I thought the airtime strength for it was very strong for a GCI. The pacing for when I was there was good. I've heard for some people in previous years, like it kind of died towards the end. That wasn't the case for me. The laterals were quite good. We also got nearly full to even full trains, which at that park is kind of a rarity. So
Unheard of for that park.
I actually had to wait occasionally, like a cycle or two, for to ride. So it was like crazy. There were a few other enthusiasts from Hollywood Nights that kind of helped, but for that park seemed to be there was a decent amount of people.
When I rode that ride in 2019, I was one of only 5 people on the train. It's solid. Probably lower tier GCI. It's definitely not as good as Thunderhead or Mystic Timbers for GCIs in that area.
Until maybe this retrack.
I agree. I do agree. I mean, I do have it
forgot it's getting
underneath
a retrack at
Mystic,
the Pulse
and I'm not as high on Thunderhead as most, but I rode before 2023 when it was running like apparently at its like best ever. But
Same way. I did not like Thunderhead till this year.
Same with my dad. My
Yeah.
dad didn't like it until this year. Now he does.
Yeah, it almost made my list. This was a tough list to make.
yeah, so
Thunderhead looks like the best ride to me at Dollywood now.
Hot take.
Maybe.
I've heard that.
I'm known for
so
hot takes. That shouldn't surprise anybody.
It's Thunderhead is growing. I've definitely heard more and more people say it's the best ride there, at least from 2023. So, and I mean, I loved Lightning Run when I rode it in summer of 2022. But I mean, hey, that just goes to show how well Thunderhead was running this year. So, but going back to Rumbler, like I said, really fun GCI. I actually have it I don't have it ahead of Thunderhead, but I have it very close with it from my rides that I got last year. But, also, it was pretty smooth, very re-rideable in my experience. Most people would say it isn't. That's probably because I rode it right after the retrack. Got 8 rides on it in like 2-ish hours probably. Rode some other stuff there too, so, but yeah.
They got a couple
Jason.
small flats, right?
Yeah, I did the Larson Tower. I had never done one of those, and that was awesome. And I did like the log flume they had, and then also the dark ride they had, which
The one there was actually open when you went.
yeah, most of the rides, I think almost everything there was operating, even the weird like there's a upcharge like shooting interactive ride inside of a building.
Yeah.
I didn't ride it, but it was open. So, and the
They
log
knew-
flume
they
was
knew
open.
people were coming for Hollywood Nights. Because Hollywood Nights probably, yeah.
I guess
Must have known.
so. The Scat 2 was open too. I did not ride it because I heard it was. I was tempted, but I was like, I've heard it's just not a good idea to do it. So.
That ride is so bad.
Yeah, there was an enthusiast who rode it, and he had to head out afterwards. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do that.
That ride, it nearly made me want to throw up by the end of the ride. It was so bad.
Yeah, it looked crazy. So
And you don't usually get sick from rides, Jason, right? Yeah.
That took the dizziness to a whole new level, though.
Fair enough.
Sounds like it.
Jason, what is your number 2?
My number 2, actually, is Escape from Gringotts at Universal Studios Florida. I finally rode for the
Hell
first
yeah.
yeah, I finally rode for the first time this year, and it was way better than I thought it was going to be. I expected just kind of like a slow-moving roller coaster, kind of like Blazing Fury, but with better theming. Nah, it's actually kind of intense.
Like Revenge of the Mummy, I would say is definitely better, but I don't think it's like way better. Like I don't think there's like a
Well, I expected
huge
Revenge
gap.
of me to be good, and it was good, but I didn't expect this to be good, and it was good.
But you know what I'm saying? Like they're both similar. I mean, well, Gringotts has the 3D glasses, but like they both have indoor, like actual, like roller coaster portions. Although Gringotts, I would say,
Is much more dark ride than coaster, but it does have
Yeah.
some coaster sections.
yeah, that's a better way of putting it.
Speaking of the 3D glasses, when we went down the tilt track and they released us, my 3D glasses almost fell off my face.
I ain't gonna. I did
Tilt track is
have
still
my
cool.
hands on it a little bit because I'm like, okay, let's just make sure this doesn't fall off. I don't think it was that close, but I did think of that when I wrote it. I only wrote it once. It was. I think it was. It was like about. It was a weird ride, but it was definitely unique and cool. I love the coaster elements, especially. I think those really surprised. It was a little too screen based for me as far as like dark rides go. I felt like with there is physical like sets during the transitions and whatnot, but it is still a very fun ride. So I can definitely see why it made your list.
Aiden, if you're still watching, when you go to Universal in 2 weeks, Gringotts should be on your list of rides to hit.
Oh yeah,
So
for
I'll
sure.
put that
It's a
out
must
there.
do there regardless. So yeah.
The queue line for that ride is so long, though.
It is long. I
Yeah.
don't even remember. Well, I took the express. I'm pretty sure I took the express entrance for that ride, and the queue line was still really long. Is there a single rider line for that ride?
I don't
No, there
I
is
didn't
not.
think there was.
Experience. I went this year. I rope dropped it.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be
Smart.
smart.
I think my first attraction might have been Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, actually, because we went to studios before we went to Islands.
Nice. Mummy was my first. I did that, then I went to Gringotts, and I went on a week in September, so it was Universal was like during the day relatively not busy. At night because of Horror Nights, it was very busy though. So
All those rides are great. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
And then Tyler, what is your number 2?
so while this one might be a surprise to the general people, after riding the ride last year, I didn't have the highest opinion of it, but now I really like it, is Storm Runner at Hershey Park.
Nice.
So the story behind this is last year when I rode this, it was part of my coaster road trip.
Yeah.
And I'm a taller guy. I'm almost 6'6", and riding Intimidator 305 hurt my shoulders so much it affected me the rest of my trip, causing
Ooh.
Storm Runner to actually be painful when I rode it last time. This time I did not have that pain, and I loved every bit of it. Funny enough, it actually dropped in my ranking just because Wildcat's Revenge is a new ride. But overall, my impression of it went up tremendously.
I don't know what I prefer. I probably do prefer Wildcat, but Storm Runner's really good.
Yeah, I was with you for your first ride.
Yeah, that was painful, but it's good now, which I appreciate.
Rode it once in 2017. It was awesome. It was my number 2 coaster at Hershey Park at the time. Of course, they didn't have Candemonium or Wildcat's Revenge,
Love Candemonium.
but it's really good. Probably still my favorite accelerator. Existing accelerator that I've done. Dragster was my one, but I do have it ahead of Accelerator. I guess Furious Baco technically isn't an accelerator, but I kind of lump it in there.
Mine would be Ka, but
I haven't ridden it yet, so
I missed Dragster by a week, by the way, or it was like a week, or like maybe just 2 weeks. But my first time at Cedar Point in 2021, Man, the incident happened like, oh, I already had my trip booked, but I just missed Dragster, so I never can't say I got to experience the OG Dragster, but I'll go into Top Thrill 2 with an open mind. Still can't believe Zamperla's doing it, first of all. Jason, we would go back and forth on our podcast. Was it going to be Zamperla? Is it going to be Intamin? I just can't believe that it's Zamperla, but here we are.
All
Seems
right.
to be they're changing, they're like changing the way they want to be viewed in the industry. They're obviously known for great flat rides, but I think they want to be known for their coasters.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for them for that project to work. It really seems like you've seen like all the stuff they've kind of shown with social media page. They've made a dedicated coaster sort of subdivision for their company. It really seems they're really focused on that. So I'm hoping that's able to work out.
What would you guys say is their best coaster right now?
For Zamperla,
Like that I've ridden.
It's a hard pick, right?
It's not hard for me.
I think I know what you're gonna say, Tyler.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. Unless I'm missing one, probably Pony Express would be the one that I could think of. Not
Go
very
ahead, Tyler.
far.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
Steeplechase is a legitimately good ride.
Yeah, yeah. Steeplechase
Yeah.
is good. Thunderbolt, on the other hand, I thought was bad. It has good airtime, but man, those restraints hurt.
It's a great layout with good forces, but yeah, restraints really bad.
yeah, I was gonna say probably the moto coasters. Those are probably the best rides by Zamperla right now.
Yeah, actually, I did enjoy what is it? I know it's their typical spinner, but Sidewinder Safari, I did it in like the first week. I thought that was a fun
Raging
ride.
Cajun's pretty good at Six Flags America. I always forget about that one.
I think that's is that a Zamperla?
All hail Time Warp.
Raging Cajun isn't spinner.
Soaring Eagle actually wasn't that bad at Coney Island, in my opinion. I don't know how you felt about that one, Tyler.
Oh, that was closed when I went, so I
The Volaire? Okay.
sadly was not able to do it. I did want to try it because I haven't done a Volare.
Well, I wouldn't be sad. You didn't really miss that much, but you missed out on a credit, so.
Alrighty, we'll move on to
Number one?
your number one.
Ooh.
Nick, what do you got?
All right. My number one, I think Tyler, at least from what Jason's told me, you'll agree with this one. Cyclone at Coney Island, Luna Park. Yeah. This is iconic. It's like in every movie. Anytime you think of a classic wooden coaster, this is like the first one that comes to mind. But and yes, the first half is not the same as it used to be. I hear it all the time from my uncle. They reprofiled the drop. They effed it up. Blah blah blah. I got all that, but the second half is still the same, and that second half really, really kicks. Those trains are very weird. It's like a bar, and it's just like padded. You could like slide back and forth.
It's like Jack Rabbit at Kennywood.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was the same for you, Tyler, but for me, being like a smaller guy, I was sliding back and forth. It was throwing me all over the place like a rag doll, but I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, if you can't tell, this is also my number one, but I'll get to it when it's my turn.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
I
Yeah,
feel like it would
That's
be.
really all I have to say about it. It's great, and it's
Just real quick, I don't know what it used to be like, but the first half is also fantastic in my opinion.
Oh, it's still good, but the second half, in my opinion, is when it really picks up.
I've never ridden it. This is my number one bucket list coaster in the state of New York. I have Giant Dipper at Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. That's another really good classic wooden coaster. And so I've seen Cyclone and I'm like, man, I really want to check that out because I think I'd absolutely love that ride. Because I've heard it has some really good airtime and some also really aggressive laterals, which Giant Dipper at Santa Cruz has. So it looks super good. So I mean, yeah, I can definitely see it for sure. Alrighty, so my number one, I didn't mention honorable mentions when I figured I'd do it once I get to one. Actually, what you brought up shows. This wasn't one I had listed, but if we did include shows, Born Stuntacular, I did see that also for the first time this year. Yeah, best show I've seen like ever at a theme park, hands down. That is amazing. If you go to Universal Studios Florida, I don't want to like go too much into it or spoil any of it. But I mean, the usage, like, it is amazing.
I love the Indiana Jones show at Hollywood Studios too. That's
Yeah.
a good show.
Born's on another level. It might be my favorite thing in the main park.
I think it's the best thing at Studios Florida. I actually agree with that.
100%. Yeah.
So, in studios, not if you count Iowans, I would take some things over it, but in studios, yes, I would
think
say so.
a couple years from now, we're gonna have a different conversation because I think a lot of people think it's night and day. Like Islands is so much better than Studios, and right now it definitely is. But and like a couple years ago, Studios was way better than Islands. I'm talking, pre Hagrid's, pre Velocicoaster, all that. But I think in a couple years, it seems like they have a lot of plans for Epic Universe, obviously. But I think they're gonna start expanding Studios as well.
All right.
Yeah, and then I anticipate a decision will come to whatever the future is of their which I really enjoyed. Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, actually, that was an honorable mention I had on here as well. I thought it was awesome.
It was great. Just rough.
Just like Rip Ride Rocket, Revenge of the Mummy were both on there. Men in Black Alien Attack, actually, my favorite shooting dark ride I've done.
I hated that ride.
Really?
I think it's awesome.
I thought it was good.
I can see why people don't like it.
It's a little bit out of control for me on that ride.
I loved it. I didn't even care about my score. I was just like, woo, and people were spinning.
I felt our vehicle did spin a little bit, but me and the person we were with, we just shot at the other vehicle and just basically forced them to spin so much. I felt so bad, but it was so fun. I love that aspect of the ride. And then just other honorable mentions. Mako was quite a bit better than I was expecting. I'm generally lower on B&M hypers outside of Goliath at Over Georgia, but Mako was still Goliath's my favorite that I've done, but Mako was closer to Goliath than I was expecting. And then Pipeline. I mean, I heard the good reviews, but I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. I thought it was really, really fun ride with, the airtime sensation with how the seats work. Very unique. You don't see that on any other coaster, so I thought that was really sick.
Airtime on a stand-up coaster. Who would have known it existed?
Riddler's Revenge does have a hill. It has one hill that does have some. I will say that.
It has it into the brake run, too.
A little, yeah.
Green Lantern has a little bit. There's like this one sharp turn before it goes into the mid-course.
I did feel that, but I wasn't sure if it was that or the jackhammering.
I mean, yeah, you could make an argument. I would even say Georgia Scorcher has a little pop of airtime.
Yeah.
All right, but I'll get to my number one. This is, and like, I know it might be a weird one because this is a reputable coaster, but I don't know, when I was planning this trip out and like had my list of anticipated rides for this resort, this admittedly wasn't like super high, but some locals told me to get ready for it. I still was like, I think it'll be a fun ride, but I figured it'd be kind of around the floorless, like best B&M floorless level, but it was a lot better than that. I have Incredible Hulk at Islands of Adventure.
Yes.
I mean, it's my favorite inverting B&M coaster I've done. It overtook Tatsu for me, which, I mean, I love Tatsu, so that's really saying something. The onboard audio, the theming, like when you're in the station, and then that launch sequence, I mean, that is just so memorable and awesome. And it is unbelievably intense. I mean, it just full pedal down. I mean, it's one of the few, right? The Cobra roll on that coaster is insane with how forceful it is, which you don't usually say about Cobra rolls, but that one, it's like insane. I mean, that also Zero G roll is ridiculously whippy and awesome. the first vertical loop as well coming out of the Cobra roll. The ride does kind of die after the mid course, but I mean it's already done so much that I think I'm okay with it. And I thought some people say it has a rattle or is rough. I didn't really find that to be much of an issue.
I think it's really smooth. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know why people say that.
I did not see an issue with that at all. So I thought it was incredible. Well, yeah, in the name, of course, so it makes sense. But yeah, Incredible Hulk is
I want
my
to say
number
something
one.
on that real quick. So like Marvel Superhero Island, when that opened, this was when Universal had acquired Marvel, and these were the early Spider-Man movies with like Tobey Maguire before Tom Holland and all the Marvel movies that they make now with the Avengers and everything, which is, obviously owned by Disney now. But I think because of how like beloved both Incredible Hulk and the Spider-Man Dark Ride are, that Disney and Universal are still okay with like the deal that they have where they're not.
Actually, the reason behind that is because Universal made an agreement saying that they have the rights to it until the rides are destroyed east of the Mississippi to those.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why Disneyland can have.
Yeah,
I knew that, yeah, and that's why Guardians exterior is so vague
Mm-hmm.
because they don't want it to be overly Marvel. Yeah.
But Guardians wasn't included in that initial
Mhm.
pack of superheroes. That's why Guardians aren't in the Universal Marvel world.
Yeah, but like then Avengers Campus is at Disneyland, so and that's why there's no Avengers at Disney. No, it makes sense, but no, I knew there was like an agreement there, but yeah, those rides are just so beloved and for good reason. So yeah, no, thanks for clearing that up though. I didn't like know the full story on it, but yeah, no, that makes total sense now.
Right.
Did not make my list, but Spider-Man's an awesome ride. But I had pretty high expectations going into it.
Doctor Doom's pretty good
So-
too. The S&S towers, you get a good view.
That is a good shout. I thought it was like gonna be literally like trash because I had heard it was like just not a good drop tower at all for whatever reason. I thought it was really fun, and I liked the theming beforehand in the queue. So yeah, I thought I was impressed by it.
Yeah.
Is it my turn? I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so for my number one, by far, this was the most surprising new ride for 2023 for me. It didn't even come close. Prowler Worlds of Fun. This ride is so freaking insane. Okay, I got 3 rides, all night rides. It actually was looking like I wasn't going to ride it all that day because it was closed when I got there. A miracle happened and it opened up at I think 9:40, an hour and a half before the park closed. So my patience of waiting for it to open paid off because I got 3 night rides in the 2 in the back and 1 in the front, and so good. Top tier GCI. I was expecting it to be like a mid tier wooden coaster, mid tier GCI. It's a top GCI and a top wooden coaster in general. It makes my top 10 wooden coasters. So good.
yeah. I mean, I love Mystic Timbers. I see a lot of similarities with Prowler, with its layout, and I mean, Mystic Timbers is an awesome night ride. Prowler looks like it has a great setting for a great night ride. Looks awesome, so I can definitely see that for sure.
They're both so good. They're within a few spots of each other in my rankings.
Yeah. From what I can tell, it seems like Mystic took exactly what Prowler did and improved it in a few areas.
I'll say though, Prowler I think is a little more aggressive at night than Mystic is.
That's fair. Yeah, I think I've kind of heard that as well. So, yeah, but I mean, it looks awesome. So, and I'm happy that it opened for you. Like, you said, an hour and a half before the park closed.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, that's awesome that you were able to experience it
I was really
at night.
Missed it, and I would have been like, no, I would have missed the best ride in the park. No. Thankfully that was not the case.
Yeah, that definitely is good that ended up working out for you. Tyler, you mentioned that your number one is Cyclone.
No surprises here. So, first off, old wooden coaster. You assumed it would be rough. Not really. I I think they had a retracking of it not that long ago, so it wasn't bad at all. It has the strongest laterals on any coaster I've been on. Legend has more, but Cyclone has stronger laterals. Also has really strong airtime for a wooden coaster.
Does have that.
Not stronger than Phoenix, not as strong as El Toro. But like you get that strong of laterals, that strong of airtime together, sometimes at the same time. You're in these couch cushions of seats with an elevated bar. There's literally the best moment of the ride. It's after a lateral turn where you're pushed to one side of the train. You're getting airtime as you're thrown to the other side. No one's sitting next to you. You literally go from
I
one.
know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes, it's a small hill. You don't expect it, but it's the best moment of the ride. I've been fortunate to have ridden a lot of good wooden coasters. I'm actually wearing my Holiday World shirt right now.
Nice.
This is my number one wood over El Toro, over Phoenix, over Voyage, over Mystic.
It's amazing.
It's just absolutely floors me. It's my number.
Jason, I know you don't get it now, but you will.
You'll get it.
Yeah.
I guess I need to get up to New York to ride the Cyclone.
Yeah, they have the pricing system, and I rode that 24 times in like 2 hours.
Wow.
I forget how many rides I got on it. I think 6, but that was enough to, fully take in how great it is.
Well, didn't you also ride Iron Rattler like 31 times?
In 2 days.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't know what my most ridden coaster is in a single day. It could be Steel Force. It could be El Toro. It could be Talon, honestly.
We technically share ours. Air Force One opening day 25 times.
Yeah.
That sounds so good.
Our thighs were killing us by the end of the day.
I think I got 21 rides on Airy for the whole trip.
Our thighs were killing us 10 rides in. Yeah, we just kept forcing ourselves on it 15 more times.
As you should.
I'm not sure what my record is for most rides in a day on a coaster. It's not. It's probably around I think it's anywhere from probably 10 to 11. But for the 2 days I was at Holiday World during Hollywood Nights, I got 20 rides on Voyage. So,
Really good.
yeah, it was awesome. But I already rode it last year. It was already my number one coaster, so it could only get better. And yeah, it was insane. I don't know that I don't see any other coaster beating it.
See what Tyler Burt commented. Behemoth 60 times in one day. That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if the park's open long enough for some rides.
I heard some years ago there was a group of people that tried to do Mind Blower 100 times in one day.
Wrong ride to do it on.
I think that was the point. Yeah, I'm like that. I did ride Mind Blower this year, but it was after the RMC retrack, and even a few days after they retweaked it because some sections were the transitions were really bad, and in my experience they didn't seem to have as much of an issue as before, but my goodness, the wooden sections are insanely rough.
We were talking about this earlier today of how wooden coasters are cursed not to work in Florida.
I know.
Oh yeah, no, the conditions are not ideal at all for them to run there.
Lightning's good though, right?
Yeah,
but that's
I enjoyed it. Yep.
The only true all wooden coaster in Florida is CoasterSaurus.
That ride's stupid. I rode that. That does absolutely nothing.
At Legoland?
Yeah, that does nothing. Yeah. It's so
That's the only full wooden coaster left.
I had went to Legoland when I was in fourth, fifth grade, maybe sixth grade. I can't remember when I went to Legoland, but these were the years that I was riding Kingdom Coaster every summer at Dutch Wonderland. And when I went, I was looking at the website. I remember looking at the website at the hotel the night before on the business center, because this was before everyone had iPhones. I think my parents still had flip phones at the time. I can't even remember, to be completely honest, but Yeah, I was just looking at the website and I'm like, oh, my mom was like, that looks like Kingdom Coaster. You'll love that. And then I wrote it. I'm like, that was stupid.
Yeah.
10-year-old me, like, all right.
Man,
I did nothing.
100 rides on Mindblower in a day. My gosh, that ride.
Stamford Bridge was with the two guys who did it.
That ride was a rough piece.
Oh God.
You know, I will say I did enjoy Mindblower. I only wrote it once. I think I could have written it a few more times. It's just I was in a time crunch because I had to go to the airport. But so I did Mindblower and Hurricane. I actually did. The layout of it is quite good, very aggressive. It's just at this point it probably is best if it gets fully retracked because it's already like, you know, partially there. Probably should just do that for the whole thing.
I like Hurricane more.
Hurricane was really janky.
I missed Hurricane. It closed early.
Dang.
I closed early. I mean, closed at 11 p.m.
Hurricane at Fun Spot Atlanta just got a sign above the pavilion that's in front of it.
About time.
Yeah,
Heard
now
something
people
about that.
Now people actually know what it's called. Yeah.
I think I saw like one of the kiddie coasters at like the Fun Spot parks got like it's like now I guess it was like kiddie coaster and now it's called Sea Serpent because they put a new sign up. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess they're putting some signs up now, which is good.
Yeah, that's the one at Atlanta.
Oh, okay. All right, that makes sense.
Cool.
I don't know.
So that's our
Trains on that.
top 5.
Yeah, that's
what
our
else do we
countdown. So actually, I wanted to ask. Obviously, you're on your trip. This stream went a little longer than I was expecting, so I don't know how you guys are doing time wise.
It's all good.
I'm pretty exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
First time, so it's like really late for us.
for sure. I think at this point, we'll probably wrap it up here, like about 2 hours and a half. We went through a decent amount of segments. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I'm just like, you guys are on your trip. I don't want to exhaust you too much, so.
You got
And
Knott's tomorrow. You got to rest up for that boysenberry.
I didn't know that the 2 rides at Knott's were going defunct next year, so we're gonna try and get on those, even if they're not the greatest.
What were they again?
the Ferris wheel, High Sierra Ferris wheel, and Huff and Puff. I don't think you can ride Huff and Puff. I think it's a kids only ride. The Ferris wheel is like I think anyone can ride it. I mean, it's like an actual small Ferris wheel. I have not even ridden those, so honestly, I'd put those pretty low priority wise. But
Definitely not high priority. It's just
yeah.
Accelerator. That is high priority.
Yeah, best of luck to you
guys
for
should go to
getting that
rope
one in.
drop.
That was a big. Yeah, that was
we were debating between that or Ghost Rider.
Yeah, because the Ghost Rider can get a really long way.
Operations from what I've seen are god awful.
Yeah, so
It's pretty rough.
The bridge said you can't ride the
operations
kiddie
right.
coaster, by the way. Is that at Knott's?
Well, the kiddie coaster's like Timberline Twister is gone anyways, but
The kiddie coaster at Knott's, it's gone.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
the rule was if what was the exact inches? You had to be. I'm short. I'm like 5'7", 5'8".
Hey.
I think.
Hey.
Yeah.
What'd you say? Yeah, I'm 5'8" as well. I was gonna say earlier, Tyler, you're like 6'6", right?
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
if I had
you
your
mentioned
height, I'd be in the NBA.
No.
Did you play basketball growing up?
I did in elementary school, but I wasn't good enough to make the middle school.
I was gonna say, it didn't interest you that much.
I can't jump.
Really? I was gonna say, because you'd probably be great on the glass. Yeah, no, I play. I did play, I should say. I coach now, but
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He coaches a middle school team.
Okay. Nice.
Y'all
That
are,
was a-
y'all are 2-0 through 2 games, right?
we are.
Nice.
Yep. Can't complain. Got a good group of kids. Anyway, we're gonna call it here, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much
All right,
just
so
wrap
since
it
it's
up.
your show, I'll let you wrap up. But yeah, this was just want to say real quick. This was great. Appreciate you for having us on. Definitely would love to come on again.
Yeah, thanks
And
for
Jason and Tyler, I hope you guys have a great rest of your trip. I'm sure I'll be hearing from Jason.
Yeah, you will.
Alrighty. thanks to all of you for coming on. Especially, like I said, huge thanks to Jason and Tyler, literally on their trip, for doing this. I mean, that is, like I said, incredible. And this was a really fun stream. Got to go through the news, our countdowns of our most surprising rides, even a little bit of Guess the Coaster. So it was a lot of fun to do. So thank you all for coming on. Really enjoyed it, having you on. And with that being said, thanks to all of you who have been watching, whether you're watching live or recorded. Very much appreciate it. And I will see you all next time here on Coaster Hour. See you all.